All right, we are going live. We're going live. Oh, yes. Merry early Christmas. Happy holidays. Let's make sure that the audio is coming through nice and yes, perfect. That's what we like to hear. Good, crisp audio. And a good morning, good evening, good day to you wherever you are at. Hope that you're having a fantastic time. Welcome to Camille's Harem. I am Lars, your friend, host, teacher, entertainer for this evening, morning, day. Again, wherever you are at for this live stream, as we dive into the events of the latest episode of the Amazing Digital Circus. Holy cow. Oh, Gooseworks got us good. Evil baby Santa enters the chat. Oh, great to have you here, Arts, and we will take on that evil baby Santa. Oh, believe you me. And also, because to kind of get ourselves a little bit into the holiday cheer and fun of things, I am going to introduce everyone to 12 holiday movies that were staples for me growing up, and talk about the quality of the storytelling, because a lot of them ended up being movies that I would watch repeatedly in hindsight, because that was actually pretty good. Some not so good, but for the most part, pretty good. So we shall extol their virtues and just have just a fun way to help ring in more of the holiday season. And say we don't have many people here with us, but that is a-okay. Arts, you will be happy to know that after this work week, I'm finally going to dive for realsies into the Destrial video, just because, man, I've been so busy. The holiday season is always busy, and this week got really weird because of I had to change up my work schedule. Art says, I always wanted a cheese pizza after watching Home Alone. Oh yes. Oh, good stringy cheese pizza. It's so hard to get good stringy cheese pizza these days. You can find it. It's just stinking difficult, man. Home Alone also always made me want to eat that ridiculous pile of ice cream and goodies that Kevin has when he's watching Angels with Dirty Souls. or Dirty Angels, whatever it is. Mobster movie. All right. So, we got Star Drop Mellow here. Fantastic. Great to have you here. So, thinking about what should be done this evening. I know that I've said, like, yes, we're going to tackle the Amazing Digital Circus, but shall we tackle the Amazing Digital Circus first, or shall we split up just how epic this was between my Christmas movie recommendations, or should we do the Christmas movie recommendations first? Say, we like the power of choice here. Art says the Amazing Digital Circus first. Yeah, it's kind of the big thing right now. Oh, so good. I'll say this episode of the Amazing Digital Circus really passed the like, I'm not sure if there's an actual good check, if there's a name for this particular check, but basically, is this something that could have played over radio, or do you need to see it visually? The dialogue was actually really, really good, that even if you couldn't see it, you knew pretty well what was going on. But when you got the visuals, it really came to life, especially for a couple of scenes. And I know this because I had to drive home from work while only listening to the audio. So, so I first got the radio treatment before being able to sit down and actually watch it. And yeah, Jax called it in this episode. He did. He did. Oh my gosh, Jax. Jax was probably the most tortured character in this episode. And it was both fantastic and depressing to see that be the case. So, yeah, sure. I think that we should just dive right on into it and have ourselves a little bit of fun. Guess my coop theory was way wrong. I was okay. You know what? You know what? We're just gonna dive. We're gonna dive into this. Hey, Jake Branch is here. Great to have you here. So, when I was first listening to this on my ride home, and again just going mostly off of what the dialogue was, I was all like, man, all of the theories that people had about CNA, Cain and Abel is just all coming together. That people that Kinger worked with were here along with him really early on, not just Queenie, and even the whole thing of like, yes, they like all these people have been kidnapped and their minds are now under observation. So many fan theories made their way into this episode, only for Gooseworks to absolutely just grind them up. That was fun. And at the same time, it's so well delivered, and especially with Abel becoming way more of a sentient NPC, that you kind of have to wonder, were we actually given the truth? So, man, let's see here. Where shall we begin? I say that we start at the beginning with Kane's absolute masterpiece of a rug pull on all of these poor characters. Holy cow. Okay. So let us begin here. I absolutely enjoy how Zubul will go to any length, including disassembling themselves, just to avoid getting roped into any of these adventures. And I mean, that's that right there. That's absolute dedication. But an interesting thing is to see everyone else's responses and interactions at this opening. Like where Pomni at one point was like, I don't want to go on another adventure, and Gangel's like, I don't want to go on another adventure. Everyone's now, except for Jax, okay with doing the adventures. Like, you can tell they're almost a little perturbed that there isn't an adventure going on. It's kind of, the day is up to you. And I find that really interesting. That's really interesting because it actually sets up a more of the tragedy for what happens at the end of the episode, because everyone loses at the end. Kane manipulate Jax to hit the red button. Oh, he did. Dan says, plot twist. Oh, yeah, we have plot twist. And Iconic is here. Great to have you back, Iconic, saying, boo. Ah! There's a murder drone in the chat. So, okay. First off, this is going to test your 90s. I'll say first off, we've already had plenty of firsts. Next, then, amend myself. Next, this is really going to test your 90s movie knowledge. Do you guys know where Rubber Baby Buggy Bumpers comes from? It's a movie quote. And I know someone's probably going to be like, Google it. Try to recall without Googling it. I'll give you guys a moment, and then I will actually give you the voice that it's supposed to be said in. I says, I think they were pretty damn close to freeing themselves. I don't think so. I actually think that they were very, very roped in. What we do learn is this. So as far as getting close to being free, we are getting close, but not in the way that we might think. Cain can see what's beyond. He is seeing the liminal space area, or not so much the liminal space, but he sees the abandoned space that Pomni entered into when she put on the headsets. Iconic says, I want to say something Jim Carrey. That's a good guess. That's a very good guess. It's something he would absolutely say, but it's not Jim Carrey. That's a great guess. Tiger says, I can't believe that the stalker I saw from episode 5 is an NPC all along made by Cain. I always figured that he was an NPC to then be told like, oh, I'm actually a player. I've been here this whole time. I was immediately suspicious, but man, Gooseworks played beautifully on everyone's desire to find a way to escape the circus. It was great. Yes, there we go. Art's got it. The last action hero, one of Arnold's famous lines. Yes, and the way it goes is, would you want to know something? It's like, would you want to know something? Little rubber baby buggy bumpers. Ha! I bet you weren't expecting that. Because throughout the movie, the kid keeps saying that, like, what something that Schwarzenegger is doing, like, I'll be back. He's like, you always say that. I don't say that all the time. And I'm like, all of these things that Schwarzenegger does in the movie, the kid's like, you do this in that movie, you do this in that movie. And so finally, Schwarzenegger just vomits out this line, the rubber baby bumpers, the little rubber baby buggy bumpers. He's like, I bet you weren't expecting that. And he says that right before they talk to a bunch of mobsters. Very good, Arts. But yes, I like the more I heard that, I was like, oh my gosh, yes, thank you. Which Cain is always using little catchphrases from other movies or shows from way back in the day to describe the characters, and it's very 90s. It's like, and there's nothing post 90s, I believe, that Cain uses to describe the characters. So good attention to world building details there, Gooseworks. Also, I love that he's just off to the side narrating the the letter. Are all of them quotes? A lot of them are quotes. So Candy Hearts and Paper Flowers comes right out of Raggedy Ann and Andy. Let's see here. There's one line that comes out of an old song. And then there's obviously the Last Action Hero. I'd have to go back through it through each and every single one. But yes, I'm pretty certain every single description for the characters is a quote. You notice how the buttons matched Pomni's outfit? Say what? I'd like to know where Meowing Milkmaids comes from. Meowing Milkmaids. You know, I actually don't know. I'd have to look that up. Maybe that is one that he came up with totally off the top of his head. But I feel like that should also be a quote. The buttons were red and blue. Now then, oh yeah, the red and blue. Also, I really enjoyed the reversal of how like the red pill versus the blue pill. The blue pill is supposed to keep you in, the red pill takes you out of the Matrix. And in this case, it was reversed. Blue supposedly gets you out of the Matrix. Red keeps you in. Also, there's a fish from Gather Pond reference here. It is a Christian children animated show from the 90s. Oh, okay. I would not have caught that one. Definitely didn't see that. Cain has never shown himself to be able to affect people's free will directly. Scientifically, the only thing that can be stimulated by the brain is emotion and memory, which he does at the very end, which is why, or at least that's what Jax thinks, because of the memories that suddenly flood Jax's mind right before he presses the button there at the end. So I think that's where he's coming from with that. Let's actually skip way on ahead. Let's see if we can catch that. I gotta go just a little. Okay, right about here is where Jax begins having memories come on in, which is probably where he's coming from with like you manipulated us, you manipulated me. I would not have done this. But as he's freaking out right here, there we go. It jumps beautifully. Just these snapshots that look so real of him there on the road at night. The lights. And so maybe so quick theory time for Jax. I think that Jax got into a car wreck, probably while drunk, and got people that he cared about really, really injured, if not killed. I think that's what we're getting a glimpse of in that moment. That's my personal theory. I have nothing else to go off of other than other things. All it's like you're messing with my mind, with our memories. Why bring that up unless it's a memory from when he was human, and using it to make him freak out and want to remain in the circus to avoid going back to reality and having to face that. Especially when Zubul says, "What, don't you," like he's like, "What, you got," when he teases them, he's like, "Oh, you got someone waiting for you out there?" And Zubul responds with, "Well, don't you?" And he shuts up. Fox Gaming Tavern, great to have you here. Says, I watched the episode and watched it all, and after finishing it, it was emotional wreck on the inside. Oh yeah. Art says, so like it or not, they're going to see how deep this rabbit hole or circus goes. Oh yes, we are going to see how deep this rabbit hole goes. The circus will continue. Well, Red, we see how deep the rabbit hole goes. In Blue, you wake back up in your bed. Oh, not in this case. Blue would have got you Shrimp Town. Oh, man. Just think of all the delicious shrimp that they missed out on. Actually, that would have been even... I actually would argue that going to Shrimp Town would have been even more shocking and depressing. Because then they would realize, like, oh my gosh, like, what? It says, I like how, despite rejection of her, Pomni still reaches out to Jax. That was a very beautiful moment. It's actually one of the reasons why I chose it for the thumbnail for this live stream. How do we know that Jax isn't facing PTSD? I would say that he is. Like, I would agree with you right there, Chase Lang Lands. And then great to have you drop on in. That yeah, what we see in that moment where they're confronted with the choice, Jax is freaking out. I really do think that's him going back to him before going to the circus. And maybe this might explain a little bit more about what he was even doing in the circus in the first place. Maybe he was put in as a means of preserving his brain, preserving his life. Maybe he chose to do it because he's like, whatever, I've lost everything. I'll do anything. I'll do anything crazy. Or maybe he knew about it and this was a way for him to escape responsibility and escape guilt. We just don't know. Oh man, it's going to be crazy. We are obviously not through with Jax yet. I remember how everyone was all like, we are going to get Jax abstracting. We got so close to Jax abstracting. Scooty Boo says, those are some goofy looking fish. I know, these freaking fish. Okay. Real quick. Let's enjoy some of the fish.
Hey there, if you want to find my sunken treasure chest, you'll have to try better than that.
I love how Pomni realizes, wait a sec, I don't actually have to do this later on.
So, I was just talking with my brother here, and yeah, you are definitely not getting our sunken treasure chest.
Those fish freak me out. These
What?
are freaky
What?
fish.
Your treasure chest? It's not like there's anything to spend money on.
I'm the one that tells lies.
I'm the one who tells all the lies.
Is that your treasure?
Dude, no, they took everything. That was my entire life savings, dude. Oh my god. Oh god. Oh my god, I'm gonna be sick. I'm gonna be sick. That was everything. Oh my god.
So, what I love about this little ridiculous encounter, because this could easily be something that you write off as this wasn't needed, this was filler. In many ways it kind of was, but what this little moment does is it pulls some interesting weight. First off, it confirms the fact that Pomni, despite everything that's happened to her in the circus, by this point, she is in on the adventures. When adventures present themselves, she's actually willing to go through with it. This is part of her old personality pre-Digital Circus, where she would go and explore abandoned areas, as we learned back in episode 5. And so her doing these adventures is just absolutely in character for her. And as she embraces these adventures, even though she's actually supposed to be finding Ragatha's eye, by encountering all of these NPCs, we find out just how much Cain has filled in this world. There's all of these characters, all these experiences to go on, but they're all bad and stupid, which preps us to be absolutely fooled by what he and Abel do in this episode. Because this is exemplary of Cain. It's just dumb. You don't know where this is going. It might not go anywhere, or if it goes somewhere, it's going to go in a place where it's like, wait, what? Oh, that's why this scene exists. This scene exists to prime you for why Pomni, of all characters, will basically push through to do everything else that happens in this episode. It says it's one of the two things. Either he realizes, Jax realizes he did something terrible, or he realizes he's dead, and none of them can truly go back. That second one is just woof. Why did he jump like that? Because horrible animated fish. The animation quality of these fish are like some cheaply made PS2 animation. I know! And it's glorious and disturbing. I knew that was Charlie. Charlie, we're off to Candy Mountain, Charlie. Honestly, if Cain didn't keep trying to make people like him, who knows how the cast would be willing to just live life in the circus? Exactly. And the interesting thing is that by the end of this episode, if Cain was just willing to give them some really, really good adventures like what he does here, without stringing them along with the promise of escape, they probably would love his adventures more. And oh boy, yeah, Cain gets absolutely beaten down by the events at the end. Ouch, Charlie, he bit me. Different meme, I know, but I couldn't resist. Ah, yes. And the sun just kills the shrimp. So there's the I did that for you. Thanks. So again, we needed this little side story to again establish what we should know about Pomni, to reestablish her character. She's gotten far more into the adventures. We know that she has an adventurous spirit. She's willing to explore things further than before. On top of that, she still cares for even someone like Jax, which is why she's paying attention to where he's going, and why she's now paying attention then to a supposed NPC who is waving her on over. And this is just absolute brilliance. I like honestly, within story and out of the story, this is really good writing, because you want to reestablish who your characters are before you have them tried by something that you know is just going to pummel them over the head, like what happens to Pomni and the others, who just take a true mental and emotional beating by the end of this. And again, to reaffirm that she is going to care about other people. She's going to see where this adventure goes. And whether it's Cain directly or through Abel, the system now knows how to game her. And that's what's so freaky, is that Abel has observed them long enough to know how to manipulate all of them. And Pomni is being absolutely used from this scene on until the very end. Chaseling Lands says Pomni showed her leadership while Jack showed his true colors. Yes. Sun be lethal, though. LOL. Yes. Oh my gosh. Oh, the Sun's such a horrible character. No, Pomni, no. Okay, this scene right here with Jax is legit nightmare fuel. I'm going to turn back the audio. So there we have all of the pictures that he's flipped around. And this one's heartbreaking. So I had actually called in a previous live stream, like maybe 3 weeks ago now, maybe it was last week, that I thought that Jax was probably also friends with Kaufmo and not just with Ribbit. And here we have it. Like, yes, Jax probably annoyed and abused Kaufmo as well. Like, let's be honest, it's Jax. But Jax kept this image because he genuinely cared about these two others who have abstracted. And and at this point he feels absolutely alone. And because we don't know the roles that he played and whatever happened to Ribbit and Kaufmo to make them abstract, it's very likely that he's dealing with a really heavy, guilty conscience. And that's what's going on here in this scene. All right, so I wanted to know what he was getting high on at first. Jax is being tempted into abstraction, seemingly. Oh, yeah. Oh, this again, as I said, this scene is absolute nightmare fuel. The moment you begin realizing, wait a second, what's that weird, creepy black space? Raise of hands in the chat. If you've ever woken up in the middle of the night, turned in your bed or looked up and you saw something that was blacker than night, and you have this exact same look, and you felt this look that you're having on Jax's face, just like, I mean, that's a me. That takes me back to being a kid. I had several experiences like that as a kid. I'm just like, oh my gosh, what the heck? Dork Daydream says, great to have you here. Dorcas says, just finished the episode. I was not ready for that ending. Yeah, that ending hit hard. And oof, yeah. Say Scott knows what I'm saying about like just that creepy, blacker than blackness, just there, somewhere in your room, looking at you. It is absolutely creepy. You want to pull away, and Jax doesn't pull away, which is what makes it so much worse. It's human nature to try and shift blame. Oh, absolutely. And we've seen Jax do that plenty in the show so far. And in a way, this scene is kind of him coming to terms with that, maybe? Let's discuss as it continues to play out. Oh, man, it's just... And then those hands! What's up with Glitch and the dismembered hands? And he reaches out to it. It's so hard to tell because of the lighting, but how his skin gets peeled back, and you're not sure if he begins to show a human hand or if it's just a variation of his still cartoon rabbit hand. Because it's so dark. And then we get the tripping scene. So let me pull it back a little bit right here. Again, so we can fully, again, just appreciate the nightmare fuel of this moment. Yeah, I mean, if it were me, I would not reach out to the darker than night blob thing, whatever, in the room. Oh, yeah, this is just a beautiful example of sleep paralysis. Obviously, with its triangular shape, it's meant to look a whole lot more like an abstracted being. This looks like Ribbit's hands, most likely, reaching out to Jax's. And then, whoop, the smaller eyes is real Jax to me. Yep, and then here we go. This is Blaze Jax. Oh, woo! Oh, the hair of that time. Okay. Funny story. The story is false, but it's a legend, and you've probably heard a variation of this. Of the two teens that decided that they were going to try out shrooms for the first time. So they popped shrooms, started hallucinating, and in the middle of their hallucinations, they saw a gnome. And they're all like, I'm going to go after that gnome. So they started chasing the gnome and went on all these fantastic adventures while tripping. They finally caught the gnome, brought the gnome back to their house, threw the gnome into the closet, and then locked the door by like barricading it. When they finally came off their ride, off the high, and they're like, remember that gnome? And they're like, what? Like, is there something? They look, they see that they had barricaded the door. So they removed the stuff. And they found a kid sleeping in the closet. Now, that's a fake. Like, as far as anyone's been able to determine, that story's actually fake. But it is a legend. It's almost kind of yeah, if you're going to do these things, you're going to do stupid stuff. It's a cautionary tale. So, if you find yourself in a room with something darker than the night itself staring at you, don't reach out to it because you might end up like Jax, almost abstracting right there for that moment. That's so good. I need to try to capture that moment maybe for the thumbnail for when I do the review. I says just finished the episode. What did I miss? You've missed us. Let's hear. You missed us talking about the like we kind of jumped ahead a little bit and said that maybe Jax is experiencing PTSD either from killing people, dying himself. We're not exactly sure what. My personal running theory right now is based off of the glimpses that we see of him driving on the road at night, is that he was likely driving drunk and got into an accident and hurt people, most likely his friends. And so that's right now my working theory. We also talked about how it's actually kind of funny how at the beginning of the episode, other than Zubul, all the other characters just seem ready to go on adventures. Like, it's kind of like Kane is so obsessed with trying to get everyone ready for an adventure that he's missed the fact that by now everyone's acclimated to it, and especially Pomni. And that's why the whole lake part exists with the weird fish and everything, because that instance with the fish is there to really pin down the fact that Pomni's adventurous, Pomni's curious. We've learned that back in episode 5, but now we're seeing this really in practice. That if Pomni's got a question, she's going to chase after an answer. She's going to buy into the adventure, and as such, she is now primed to be manipulated by Abel and Kane. And it's so good. Gooseworks set this up so well, both in story and as a writer, like thinking meta speakingly. Gooseworks put in everything necessary to prime not only the character, but the audience to accept the adventure that we're about to go on, even though it's an absolute lie. And despite the fact that Jax later on calls it out, you're just willing to go along with it. And then even if you're expecting that it's a lie, it still hits you like a ton of bricks. I says I like the backroom aspects of the circus too. Oh yeah. I automatically assumed he tried to end himself in his life. I would not put it past Gooseworks. Oh yeah, I could see that being the case. Iconic says, I can't stop thinking of the asexual Drake image with naked Jax. Yeah, there's going to be a lot of fan art there for that. Indeed. So now we get introduced to Abel. And I I believe that we have been told up until this moment, and I actually should check the wiki just to make sure. But I believe that we've just been calling Abel this whole time Mr. Football. Let me just make sure to quickly double check that, just to make sure. So Mr. Football, the Amazing Digital Circus, and is an NPC and minor character, appears in the pilot. So trivia. Dr. Football is the only mannequin NPC who seemingly has emotions, and it's unknown how are they still present in the circus without Kane deleting them. We now have a good idea, and so very likely the character who was once called Dr. Football, unless we are told otherwise, unless we meet Dr. Football separate of Abel, that Dr. Football's been around this whole time, observing the other characters, helping to plan out how this is going to work. How is Kane going to deliver a story that is so just full and rich and capitalizes on the desire of the characters to get out, which he admitted back in the pilot episode that he was making an adventure like that. He just didn't know what to do with it. And now we understand better what was going on. And Jay says, I love that no matter what happened, Pomni never lost faith in Kinger, because Kinger is the absolute GOAT. Kinger is amazing. And it infuriates me that everyone to some degree was perfectly manipulated by Abel, so that way they were not thinking about what Kinger would say or do in that moment, except for Pomni. And the moment that Pomni goes for it to get Kinger's information, she foolishly lets Kinger out of his pillow fort, because we actually get to see in the moment where he's all like, something's not right, but then the light hits him, and then we go back to stupid Kinger. And it's just, no. Kinger could have saved you all in this moment. I says, that's the thing. Abel has been in the background for a few episodes now. I somehow doubt that he was that he was an NPC. Well, yeah, like what we're seeing right here, this footage, I swear, Gooseworks, I honestly don't know if Gooseworks originally planned for some of the stuff to happen. And my reason why, unless Gooseworks really thought this out like well ahead of time, I think that Gooseworks wanted to see what kinds of theories people would have about CNA, Cain and Abel, why are people being locked there in the circus, and try to find some of the more plausible and popular theories, so that way they could be fed into Abel's explanation of what's going on. Because the moment that Abel began revealing, quote unquote, the true purpose behind the circus and what was all going on, like I bought into it. Even though in the back of my head I was like, why should I trust this guy? It just fit. And I was like, oh my gosh, it fits. It's beautiful. Yes, it makes sense. Huzzah! The theories were correct. Oh, man. It's just so painful. Gooseworks did a brilliant job of stringing along both the characters and the viewers, which is not so easy to do. Yes, there have been people who obviously question who the heck this guy is, and that's absolutely understandable. And yet, even though someone like me was questioning what the heck this guy was, what he was doing, what were his real motivations, I was bought wholeheartedly into the story. Kinger's being held back on purpose. Yeah, King. Here's reverting back to an old meme. Kinger is like Ultra Instinct Shaggy. He's only using 5% of his power.
This place. I'll explain more.
I gotta let a fat cat out of the office.
Just trust me. You will not regret it.
Go forth, be free, fat cat.
Am I doing this wrong?
None of these even fit in the keyhole.
Has anybody even tried just...
Oh, thank God.
There is so much meme material right here. So, someone captioned this. Let's see. If you were to put a caption to this shot right here, what would it be? What would it be? It was open the whole time. Yes, it was. I think I was stuck in that office for 10,000 years. 10,000 years will give you such a crick in the neck. The caption for Pomni, the crick in the neck. Pomni like, oh yeah, it's all coming together. Here's my caption. When Abel starts explaining the lore, Pomni, whoop, gotta spell Pomni right. Pomni. Oh yeah. It's all coming together. Whoop. or maybe another one would be me showing my friends the horror movie that tormented me as a child. Because at this point you're just all like, yep, that's it. And yes, Ragatha just looks disturbed. Ragatha looks disturbed. Gangle looks shocked and unsure, and Jax is just freaking out there in the back. Do you know what it's like to be stuck in a Chinese office for 10,000 years? It's boring. I've had a Charlie horse since the Renaissance. So much meme. I love it. Thanks, guys. Thank you so much. Comic Cards here. Hello. What did I miss? You've missed almost 40 minutes of talking about the Amazing Digital Circus, episode 7. And right now we are talking meme material with this one shot. But I do want to go through again what Abel is weaving here. The story that he's weaving, because it works so well. We honestly should be all like, no, but it just fits. It fits. And Gooseworks is like, yes. Oh man. Hunter says, dang it, I couldn't watch this episode yet. My grandmother came over and I got distracted from watching this episode. Well, I hope you had a good time with Grandma. Let me actually, there's a quote. Bonnie, just when she looks back, there's a quote from Fablehaven. Let's see. Fablehaven, Evil Dragon quotes. Because there is a brilliant quote from Brandon Mole in the Fablehaven series that basically is him as the author saying like, yeah, I thought everyone knew that this one guy was evil, but apparently you guys didn't. He calls everyone out on it. Boy. Oh man, there's so many quotes. I will have to look for it later because it's a great quote and I don't want to botch it. But it's effectively like how when you are the person with the evil plan, you think everyone can see you for who you are and what it is, but you'd be surprised how many people just buy it. Palm needs a common craft. I could tell you.
Last I remember, I was asking too many questions.
So,
and then poof,
bring it back just a wee bit here. So again, the story.
You really think Kinger worked with him?
Oh, whoops. Sorry.
I can see it.
Well.
So right there, the manipulation. Kinger is a little klutzy, and so and absent-minded. So Abel assumes that exact same persona in order to convince Pomni and Ragatha, who know Kinger best, that this guy probably would have worked with Kinger, and capitalize on the fact that they have seen that Kinger has a lot of knowledge about the digital circus, and he's been there the longest.
As production went on, the higher-ups at C&A started getting untrustworthy. They began forcibly hooking my fellow co-workers up to the computer in special stasis pods that would keep them alive and analyze their brains.
So, already right there, this dives right into what so many people have been theorizing at, that this is all been, and even I've been there. This is an experiment to understand what goes on in people's brains. This is some evil brainwashing. People like Kinger were locked away because they knew too much. They were asking too many questions. The reason why everyone's been kept alive is because they're in these special stasis pods and all that. I mean, there's obviously a theory that everyone is dead and that their minds are just stuck in this game, and that's why they can't get out. But this just fits. Abel is here with all the answers. Hey, did Abel and Kinger have the same VA gut? Yeah, I'll go check. Yeah, check it out. See, because they sound familiar.
Awful stuff.
I'm gonna shoot you down and say none of us are CNA employees. How would we have gotten hooked up to this big machine just by putting on a headset?
That's what I wondered as well. But then I remembered that C&A was planning on expanding development. Last I remember, I was asking too many questions, and then poof, I was here.
So again, an excellent explanation that makes sense with everything that people have been theorizing about. It fits the lore of this world. And if you are going to write a misdirect within any one of your own stories, this is what you need to be thinking about. You need to be thinking about, okay, what fits the lore of the world that I've created? What fits for the personalities and the experiences of the characters? So much so that for anyone reading this or watching this, they will believe it the same as these characters, because I have taken the time to condition them through the world building and through the character progression to believe that this lie is a very viable possibility. So much so that we can accept it as truth. Gooseworks has spent 6 episodes building up to this moment. All that work has been for this, because by the end of this episode, everyone is properly tortured. Everyone is in a state where, what's the point? Honestly, we got to ask ourselves, how do you move on after that? Because there's no way out of the circus now as far as anyone's concerned. And on top of that, they're losing their minds. And they can't trust Kane. Any trust or hope or goodwill towards him is gone. That means that the only thing that they can rely on is themselves, and Jax betrayed them. And not only that, but their reactions to Jax and to the situation means that the group dynamic that's been built up has been shattered. This is phenomenal. It sucks for the characters, but man, this is great writing. Kinger was voiced by Sean Chiplock, and Abel was John Winfield. Okay, John Winfield Scott. Or maybe Abel is really human and was only portraying this persona to help Kane keep them all in the game, which is a possibility, though the whole hot dog thing at the end, I'm like, yeah. I was holding out that he actually was a human, and then at the very end, I'm like, yeah, nope. It was all a lie. That's so cutting. Pomni, Ragatha, and our crying mask friend are trusting, but Jax and Zubul call out Kane on a regular basis. I'm surprised Zubul hasn't been abstracted. It's because Zubul It's because Zubul has goals that allow them to maintain their sanity slightly better. And I think that's really why Zubul hasn't yet abstracted.
They're probably doing the same to anyone that stumbles into that office. Kane is an AI.
Yeah, I think we all got that.
An AI specifically created to keep your minds active. But he's just as much of a prisoner as you are. One that, won't be able to leave with us.
Just get to the meat and tell us exactly how we're gonna leave if we're all hooked up to stasis pods.
Yes, of course.
All right, so time to finally get to it. Which, here's the thing: this is the moment where like Jax is right for questioning, and this is where everyone else should start asking questions. But they're so primed to want to get out that they're not asking questions at the right time. This is the moment where you could grill a character like Abel and shatter the facade that he's built up. But again, capitalizing on the desires of the characters, the game can still go through brilliantly. And yeah, Art says, and Abel was trying to portray Kane in a positive light here. And in a way, that's actually, like, I have to agree. Kane, like, what we see of Kane engineered part of this adventure to get Jax to spend time with him, because Kane has been dying to spend one-on-one time with people that shun him all the time, that make fun of him all the time. To finally have a chance to carry on what for him is a positive conversation, to have an outing, to just have fun, to talk about himself, to talk about his creations with someone who's going to listen. That's what Kane has wanted this whole time. And he if he couldn't get it naturally, he decided to manipulate them in order to get it. The fact that Kane said Abel was getting too smart before deleting him proves Abel is AI. Yep. And I mean, that has also been something that's been talked about previously in the show, is how the AI that Kane is developing within the game allows for the characters to be way more interactive and interesting to the players. This episode really makes me wonder what's going to happen when we see Gummy Goo again, because it's pretty clear that Gummy Goo is going to play another role in this before it's all done, thanks to the special connection that Pomni feels to him. There's no way that Gooseworks is going to drop that thread after episode 4. No way.
So, I did some digging, and I discovered that the stasis pods and the virtual world are both run in the same program. So, theoretically, if we were to access the master console hidden deep within Kane's office, we could...
Okay, I just have to say, this right here is brilliant. Because, coming back through it, I feel, again, like this might have been taken from, this might be a slight amalgamation of the different fan theories that people have had. Like, again, this is something that Gooseworks probably could have come up with very easily, but something about this just smacks of, I read your theories, I like them, and I am going to utilize them in this absolute lie. So here we got the CNA internet access. That's kind of cool. The circus lobby. Sorry, oh man, that headset just looks weird. That looks so uncomfortable, because that looks more like the really horrible cage that you would see people get their heads clamped in the Dark Ages. You got the machines right here. If 52 had been up here, oh, that would have sent people just absolutely reeling. And maybe it's the lack of 52 that we should be like, maybe that's a sign that it wasn't, that this wasn't legit this whole time. It's like the headset they used in Dot Hack. Oh my. Administrator. Whoop. All that little tiny writing, it's hard to make out. Is the nature of AI to serve their own self-interest? Self-preservation is the best and most efficient method of accomplishing the programmed task.
To steal the key from Kane, and we'll also need administrator privileges. I believe you're good at obtaining keys?
Okay, you know what's gonna happen when we do all this? Kane's gonna pop out and say, "Congratulations on beating the Escape the Circus adventure," and everything's gonna go back to the way it always was.
Oh, man. Oh man. And here's the thing. Jax calls it. And this again is brilliant because this acts upon what we ourselves would be thinking, that this has to be a lie. There's no way this could work. But because by this point, think back to episode 6, Jax with this whole like, I torture people for fun. His whole thing, we have been primed to dislike Jax. And because of that dislike, even if we do, like, I still like his character, but because of the way he's been acting, you are primed to not take him as seriously in this moment and to subconsciously reject the very real possibility, or the very likely possibility is the better way of saying it, the very likely possibility that he posits right here, that this is all just a game. Because he nails it. And this is what we should all be expecting. But because we want the characters to get out of the circus, and because we've also by now been primed to kind of go against Jax, this is where our doubts begin melting away. So, like, when I was listening to this, because at this point, I'm driving home and I can't watch this, I'm just listening to it. This is the moment where I was all like, it's legit. Abel's got a plan. Oh my gosh, it's legit. And just beforehand, I've been questioning, there's no way. No, this can't be real. And thinking back to him, like, I was primed. I was swayed because Gooseworks is a genius. I love it.
I've been watching you. All of you.
I'm trying to give them a grand adventure. Kane has set up a beginning, set up the beginning of his own fall.
Abstraction.
Oh, absolutely.
I wish I could have come to you sooner, but I didn't want to potentially ruin our only chance at escape by telling you before I knew exactly how we were gonna do it. I'm not a creation of Kane.
Abel with those cheeks.
I've suffered just as much as the rest
wooden
of you.
cheeks.
I know this all sounds
or wooden
crazy,
glutes.
but if you follow me, you will see freedom. I'll also draw a face on myself, so you can tell me apart from any other blank NPCs.
And just that right there, like, is another thing where you're just all like, oh, okay, yeah, no, he's totally bought into this. This is so like this is someone who's willing to shame themselves in order to win the favor of others, win their trust. Oh, but man, that smile. This is where when I watched it, when I finally had the chance to sit down and watch it rather than just listen to it, seeing the close-ups on that smile and the different angle shots on Abel helped to convince me that nope, there's something wrong. But you still feel pulled along because you want the characters to get free. It says, in the moment that Kane appeared, my brain automatically concluded that after Jax pressed the button, he was alerted of their presence in his office, so he rolled with it and pretended that's what it was. All just his plan, another adventure. Whether that was or he all planned it out, man, Kane is able to really roll with the punches and manipulate these people. Or says, yeah, you were trying to get that guy by the pausing the video on stream last week. It was creepy. Oh, yeah. Oh, we'll see more of this freaky face.
What should we call you? Do you have a name?
I do. My name is Abel.
Oh my gosh, yeah. Gooseworks absolutely buying into it.
Like, is that the name you picked? Or...
Yeah, I thought it would be cool. But anyway, first things first, we need to get that key.
Oh man, poor Jax being set. Actually, I personally wouldn't mind having a dinner with Kane, but then again, I've got better people skills than Jax does. Oh my gosh. I also have to say this. I really like how the planning for the heist, quote unquote, the heist, is executed with what is happening. So we constantly cut back to Abel explaining the plan to make sense of what's going on in the moment. So rather than spending all this time of building up the plan and then cutting away to them doing the plan, you actually get this really neat, tense balance of hop back to the plan. Now we see things unfolding in the present. Hop back to the plan. Then we see things unfolding in the present. And it makes you wonder when it's all going to trip up. Because that's what happens in a heist. Something goes wrong, and they then have to adapt to the situation. And they have to improvise. And the improvisation is what makes the heist usually a whole lot more fun and engaging, showing off the skill of the people involved. In this case, everything goes according to plan. And why is that? It's because Cain and Abel have, again, perfectly manipulated all of the players, knowing what they would do in a certain situation and just working with it, rolling with it. Oh, man. I love the delivery of that moment. Oh, it's right here. Let me pull back on the audio.
Interested in talking about?
Why?
It was all part of the adventure. That
I
means
didn't
Cain
think
made
a
it part of the
human would
mission to
ever want
glaze
to
him.
ask me about my-
Exactly. This whole
It's the
part,
most
this is the most
fantastical
genius
moment of
parts
my-
of the whole episode. Because Cain is getting exactly what he wants from Jax. And is manipulating Jax to continue to go through with it.
What you doing there, Jax?
Have I ever told you how it's my dream to get eaten by you?
That's a weird thing to say and want.
It's so creepy.
Do you really believe it?
Go back.
I mean,
Absolutely
everything he
delivered
says?
that line
I
perfectly.
just want to know what Kinger thinks of all this.
Yeah. I was thinking the same thing.
Ragatha, get your head in the game.
How much do you know about Kinger?
Huh? Oh, I probably know about as much as everybody else, but he's also
Now,
helped me through
Ragatha,
some of
you
my
saw the
hardest times
glowing,
here.
the glowing,
Is it weird to say I
butterfly.
trust him the
Come
most out of
now.
everybody?
No, that's
Tell
not
people.
weird at all. I had a similar
There's
experience.
so many ways you could take
and
that line. Oh, yeah.
I think he might know more about this place than he lets on.
Yeah, he has been here longer than anyone else.
Yeah, see, this is the moment where Ragatha should have mentioned the whole glowing butterfly, how it helped to restore her life. The fact that Kinger could just make that in the moment and then allow for and that would have been the moment where Pomni could start connecting the dots even more. Because remember, back to the previous episode, Kinger can not only create extra lives for people, but he's also able to bend bullets. And he commits to every bit so hard that he just goes along with the adventure perfectly and basically unlocks powers as he goes for whatever is needed. And if Ragatha had just opened up about it right there, that is a moment where Pomni might have suddenly realized, you know what, before we go through with this, we need Kinger. And the entire plan would have gone up in smoke right then and there. Maybe not 100% guaranteed, but like this is a moment where miscommunication, and not necessarily like purposeful or vindictive, but just simply not bringing up something because you decided in the moment it wasn't that important. That's actually some of the best miscommunication, is the benign miscommunication. Benign miscommunication sometimes leads to greater drama and way more subtly than the more vindictive planned, I am not going to tell you the truth, I'm going to lie, because it's the cheaper, it's the easier way to get that kind of drama. But miscommunication, if written more realistically, is actually very, very good. I know that people hate the trope of miscommunication, but if done well, the miscommunication trope can lead to some fascinating stuff, like what we're actually seeing here, or the fascinating possibilities. Kinger is how everyone's going to escape calling it now. Chase, I agree with you. I think that Kinger will be very vital to how they all escape.
That Abel isn't interested in him at all.
Like I said, things between us are complicated. I would love to be able to work alongside him again. And you're right to think he has knowledge about this place. It's just, I made a promise.
Okay, okay. I need to jump on ahead because when I saw this, when I finally had a chance to sit down and watch it, I was all like, he has to somehow be real. Either he's a reused and repackaged person who's abstracted. Maybe he is someone from the company. This has to have been a lie somehow. But when we pop on over here, there we go.
Performance?
Oh, you're getting too smart. Time to delete.
So boom, that right there. When the lock, he's like, I have a promise to keep. It's a hot dog. It's a hot dog with mustard. And unless I am missing something that's very significant about a hot dog with mustard, it just goes to show that Kane couldn't think up of anything in the moment for able to really like care about. It's just a promise. The promise of keeping mustard on your hot dog. Or maybe the promise was supposed to be relish. Maybe we're supposed to see a picture of relish there on the other side. Bring relish and mustard and a hot dog together into the perfect sandwich? Bun? Personally, I like to eat my hot dogs dry. No condiments, thank you. Unless it's a Sonoran hot dog. Oh, Sonoran hot dogs are delicious. So good. Star Jamel says, I'm still shocked they brutalized him, though. Oh, yeah, you're getting too smart. Click, you're gone. Which is why I personally think that Gummy Goo back in episode 4 with the fast food place, the fast food masquerade, I think that Gummy Goo actually did remember Pomni, but knew not to say anything because he would get blasted away again, like he was in episode 2. Now, why doesn't Abel like Kinger? Is it just Kane making sure he doesn't call out the adventure? I think that is the case. And there might also be some history there. We don't know. And it's because Kinger is in a position to not really tell us what happened. I can't handle the dry buns, so I just don't like eating hot dogs on buns. That's fair. All right, let's see here. Okay, bring it back.
Like Kufmo and Ribbit.
I don't know. But let's hope for the best, right? And here we are, the Administrator Zone.
The Administrator Zone. What'd you get? This is such a cool scene. This is such a cool sequence. Like, if Kane delivered more adventures like these, like, holy cow, like entering into the Administrator Zone, going to his office, are just super cool. Me. Okay. This is where we have to be like, wait a second, what's going on? So back in the pilot episode, Kane built an entire maze of rooms based off of the images that he's able to see from there. We know that Pomni went into an abandoned office space and put on the headset, which is when she ended up in the digital circus. We know that the computer in this area freaked her out somehow when she saw it. She hasn't yet connected the dots. So we know that Kane is there at the computer looking through whatever camera it has to take pictures of this other space. This is the world beyond. But he doesn't understand it because he doesn't understand humanity. He doesn't understand his place in the greater world. But he's fascinated by it because it's the one thing that he can see that he cannot access. And this is a phenomenal bit of world building that gets dropped right here.
And these photos are all I have of the location. I'm obsessed with them. I just wish I had more info on the location so I could accurately recreate it. Too bad they cut me off, right?
Yeah, what a shame.
So, what's your takeaway from all this?
And Jax, because Jax is both not really paying attention, and probably because Jax has no idea about where Pomni was when she found the headset, to not immediately connect the dots into why those pictures are so dang
so
significant.
Glad we understand each other a little more. I really am trying my best to make you guys happy.
The miscommunication, the fact these characters are not shared so much. We as the audience, we can see the connections. We can start connecting the dots.
Celebrate by giving you guys anything you ask for. How's that sound?
Sounds good.
It's basically like Ariel in a sense.
This was a nice
Look at
dinner
the
and
stuff.
everything, but
Isn't it neat?
circus.
Wouldn't
The
you
gals and I
think
were gonna
my
do something
program's
which
complete?
may or may not be a
Wouldn't you
surprise for
think I'm a
special certain
mouth?
ringmaster
A
we wanna
mouth who
show our
has
appreciation for.
two big eyes.
Say no more.
How long is Jax gonna take? I
Ah,
feel like we've
man.
been standing here.
Say, yeah. So we got we get the priming for maybe we should tell Kinger, and because Kinger is just kept in the dark because not everyone has yet had the chance to really have their one-on-one with Kinger. Just like, you know how from Avatar: The Last Airbender, everyone needs to have their own moment with Zuko or their own moment with Iroh. Not everyone has yet had their chance to have their special moment with Kinger. And so as a result, Gangle and Zubul don't really appreciate just how important Kinger is in this situation or what he can accurately provide. And so it's again like just the missed opportunities. Oh, it's so juicy. It's so great. Like we as the audience understand it, but they obviously don't because they're missing all the context that we have. But Kinger starts putting it together. It's just that Kinger's lost so much of his own mind and memory.
Hi, Zubul. You startled
He
me.
can't come in clutch the way he's supposed to.
So we may have discovered something you'll want to hear about. It's
We found a way to leave the circus. We're currently preparing everything, but we need to keep it quiet so Kane doesn't stop us.
Yeah, what she said.
Huh? Leave the circus? How would you... No, that doesn't make sense.
We met up with Abel. He says he was one of the original programmers,
Oh.
and he knows how to shut off the game and free us.
Who?
Oh boy.
Continue this conversation later. Just
No,
thought I'd give you a heads
Zubul, no, continue the conversation now. And so as a result, it will continue to be as it was. Good old floppy disks. In the chat, have any of you actually ever had to use a floppy disk? I had to use floppies to play old school chess and paratrooper. Oh man, back in the good old day of floppies. The design for this place is just fun. It's so cool being able to see the what this administrator's world looks like. Again, if Kane focused maybe a little bit more on making places like this with some interesting stories, not ones that are meant to traumatize the humans, it would work out well. But again, that just comes around to the fact that Kane doesn't understand humanity. That is his biggest flaw as a helper program. And says, yeah, I lived with my grandparents for a few years. They had a few. Yeah, floppies are just, there's something about floppy disks. They're so cool and so old and so unhelpful. Actually, they got so little space on them. Oh, that creepy smile. I know they existed, but I never used them. Yeah, it'd be so hard to find. You have to find the right kind of computer that would allow you to use a floppy disk. And in all honesty, it's just so slow. Oh boy. I remember back in the day waiting like 20 minutes for something to load. And you just move on and do something else, and then come back 20 minutes later, make your move on chess, and then let it load again. Oh man. Old school computers. So, yeah, no, let's get that line. Let's get that line again from Jax, because he's got the good line here.
Such little faith in me. Goodness.
Oh, I wonder why. If this whole thing gets messed up because of you, I swear to God.
Yeah, let's just all follow Mr. Obvious Twist Villain instead.
Now wait, hold on. You think...
Let's all just calm down and be a team here.
The reference to the
Mommy's got
twist
administrator
villain. I mean,
passes for
we already
everyone.
had our talk full last
All in
last
this
week with
together.
Utopia 2 about the twist villain. And in this case, yeah, Abel's a twist villain. And it's the kind of villain that, again, if you're paying attention, you can see him coming
Why do
from a
they look
long
like
ways
that?
away. But as opposed to Posbert, like, we are primed to really like Abel
Wait,
and to
pardon
want
me.
to trust him. Gotta go back. It's a moment where it's again one of those other moments where
All in this
everything could have
together.
changed. If only Kinger had not walked out. The creepy little hands. Jax is still upset with
Why
Pomni.
do they look like that?
Wait, pardon me.
Huh?
Oh,
Did you say something?
oh man, poor Kinger. It's so sad that we get to see from his perspective what it's like. Like, there's that clarity, then there's the light, and it all just goes blank, and he becomes dumb again, dumb and forgetful. Mick says, "Hey, Mimic is here, woohoo!" As soon as I was done watching this episode, I immediately ran straight to Camille's harem. I knew Professor Lars had a lot of interesting things to say. Oh, thank you. I love how, like, this is one moment where you realize that Kane was not the one who purely came up with every aspect for this, because there's no way that Kane would call out himself on the fact that he couldn't get cubes right. Because there we go, pew, which goes back to episode 2. I love how this episode makes good use of so much that's happened throughout the show thus far, even small details and world building stuff. And oh man, this shot, that whole sequence in this shot is just great. It's so good, so ominous yet fun at the same time, and it works so well for Jax being the one who has to go through this, because this is the beginning of his moment where, will he go through with this? Will he leave the circus? And yet we don't yet know, we don't yet see his PTSD, but we've already seen his guilt. We see his guilt at the beginning of the episode. And so in a way, it makes us wonder, is he actually thinking of leaving right now? Is he going to go ahead of the others and prevent them from escaping by basically taking away the chance from them? It ends up being something very different. That ominous smile. Oh, but Pomni's just so trusting, which again, and even with that little ooh face, make the right choice. Now, an interesting thing though is this. So I'm going to pull back up the audio
Just
again.
trust me. You want to get somewhere dark?
You can say that again.
Because it's interesting that Abel adds this last detail, because he didn't have to.
So, how are you getting up?
I'm not.
But,
But
like,
I
why?
trust all
Why
of
was
you
it
to
added?
make the right choice.
When we all get out, I'll buy you a beer.
Make the right choice.
Whee! Okay. So I'm gonna take a moment right here first to address what Mimic just wrote, and then to offer an insight or at least a belief that I've had with each episode of the show. So I love how the scene in Jax's bedroom with Jax touching Rivet's fingers is a nice callback to the iconic creation of Adam. Very good connection right there, Mimic. The painting by Michelangelo, and Jax's V is also named Michael. Hey, yes, very good. Now, in each episode of the show, I feel like Kane unintentionally has dropped hints about what is going on. So, for instance, with the whole like gather the gloinks, and then there's the gloink queen. Why the heck this? Well, because the gloink queen is all about transforming other things into gloinks. Okay, so what's the point? Well, everyone who goes into the digital circus is transformed from what they were, or who they were, into these cartoon caricatures who don't seem to really retain who they once were. They just become something else. It's a clue about the circus. In the second episode with the candy carrier chaos, you have the fudge. Why is the fudge there? The fudge is so far removed from everything else, but it's a monster that's lurking inside, just there. And if you go exploring, you'll find it, which is then complemented by in the Mystery of Mildenhall Manor. We get Pomni getting possessed. We have these evil spirits, these spirits who happen to know Kinger. It's like a confirmation that there's something in the digital circus, something that's just, it's wrong. But we don't know what it is, but there's something very, very wrong. The Fast Food Masquerade episode 4, again with the crazy, with the stupid sauce. When it gets into Ragatha's eye, she sees Gangle in a twisted, perverse way, similar to when Pomni was possessed, and it sets up Gangle getting so close to abstracting. Again, there's just something wrong. And that's followed up in this episode with, like, why is there this weird pyramid shadow that reaches out with Ribbit's hands to Jax, and he nearly abstracts there. There's something in the game. There's something in the digital circus that is wicked, that's monstrous. Kane seems like the likely candidate, especially at the end of this episode. But everything that Kane does, and that's reinforced in this episode, is to be serviceable and to be loved because of all the stuff that he's doing. Kane doesn't want people to abstract. He even gets frightened when Kinger calls out at the end of the episode, "Scratch the first abstraction." And Kane's like, that was never meant to happen. So there is something monstrous within the system. Was it caused by Kane? Was it always there to begin with? We don't know. And the reason why I bring that up is because with Abel suddenly dropping make the right choice. Okay, what's up with that? And even why have a choice? Well, obviously because Kane wants people to choose him. But why drop make the right choice? It's not a choice at all. You're going to escape. Why make the right choice? I think that it's a moment, because it's so different from everything else that Abel has said and done and the way he's spoken, even when he's being ominous and creepy, is because Kane has once again accidentally, subconsciously, or maybe even purposely to some degree, we don't know, has dropped another hint. And we just don't yet know how all these hints are supposed to come together to reveal to us what's supposed to happen in the story going forward. At least that's the way I think right now. So we get everyone then dropping on in. Pomni is suddenly disturbed by this message, and well, it's time to go busting into Kane's office. And let me just say, I wish I had an office this epic. Also, it immediately makes me think of the Collector and his design from the Owl House. I also really like how all of these crystal balls contain the different adventures that they've been on. Like, Kane hasn't just gotten rid of them. He's enjoyed them. He's collected them because they mean something, at least to him. And then there we got the Gloinks. There's Candy Carrier Chaos. Pomni looks at it fondly because Gummy Goo. And there we have the secret passageway to the back. Do you think that maybe Kane subconsciously wants the others to escape? Personally, that's what I'm thinking. I think that Kane wants them to escape. That ice world, I guarantee that's going to get called back in a future episode. We're going to finally learn what on earth happened to Ribbit, and it probably has something to do with whatever happened on that ice adventure that Jax was just looking at. TV Cat says, I think the twist here is that no one escapes but tries to find meaning in their stagnant life. That is one way that the story could go. That would be very much in line with I have to scream and I have no mouth, or I have no mouth and I must scream, however the title is. Again, Jax refusing to take Pomni's hand, again showing that the consequences of the previous episode still stand, which again is good. You want consequences in your story to stick. If the consequences don't stick, then what does it matter? Now, I'll actually pause right here for a little bit to then address one of the big issues with like consequences sticking is deaths. What happens in a story if a character dies and then a character gets brought back to life? Well, then what's the point? Death is now meaningless. Not necessarily. It comes down to the author to come up with a good way in which there's still consequences for that. So, like, let's say a character does indeed die but gets brought back later on, but they've missed out on life. And a great example of this is something like Sanda, where, yes, granted, Ono isn't dead, but Ono pretends to be dead. And because Ono pretends to be dead, when she then comes back to life, and comes back into the story, so much has happened that she no longer has the prized connection that she had with Fuyumura. And Fuyumura has grown. She has evolved as a person, and so she no longer has the same relationship with Ono. And as a result of Ono, quote-unquote, dying, their relationship is shattered. And there's no good way of putting it back together. And so the thing is this, consequences need to stick. Yes, it's probably better if characters don't come back from the dead unless you have a good mechanic for why they can come back from the dead. But if characters do come back from the dead, there needs to be other consequences for them coming back. And maybe not always in like, they've lost part of their soul, they've lost their mind, but rather the loss of time and how time has gone away from them and the people who brought them back. Meg says, maybe Abel meant make the right choice in a literal sense, since the blue button was on the right side and Kinger's favorite color is blue because it's closer to black. But blue would just take them to the shrimp, which Abel is all about trying to get them to choose Cain by the end. So I'm not exactly sure if that's what's going on here. I love the exchange between Gangle and Zubul. Like, they're still the dark horse ship of the whole series, but it's nice to see a genuine friendship between the two of them and how Gangle's afraid of losing that and Zubul's like, don't worry about it. What we've had, who we are, and our experiences even in this place are still real. And that's a beautiful message. The red button will close the console and keep all players inside the circus. The blue button will end the game and disconnect all players. Oh, no, you're right, Mimic. I was wrong, because I was still thinking that red was the way to get out. That red, because the Matrix. Dang it, the Matrix has pre-programmed me to think that red is the way out. You were right, Mimic, you were right. But yeah, yes, maybe it was choose the right, because the right is where the blue is at, and the blue is what Cain wants you to choose. So, Mimic, you were right. You're right. All right, at least I think you're on. At least I think you're onto something there. So now the choice that you should make, and
Do you want to make the choice?
The choice of what?
I love it right here. I love this part because you would think that Pomni would just very simply, I want to get out of here because that's the way that she's been since episode 1. But yet, Pomni has learned. Pomni pays attention. And in this moment now, Pomni realizes there's probably more to this. Again, it's very much in character for her. And this then helps to set up the rest of the drama, which, again, is good. Continuity.
Sure all the way here?
Hey, yeah, wait. Don't we all want to press leave? Why leave it up to him?
What if there's something we don't know? Maybe we should give it a little more time?
Oh, yeah. I love pressing buttons. You, want me to press one of those too?
And it's interesting, like, in this moment, she freaks out because it's like, wait a second,
Am I missing
Kinger is not
we all
back
wanna
to his,
leave, right?
to his knowledgeable, smart self.
Yeah, we do. It's just, what if
And
it's
that's why
a
she starts
trick
falling
or
apart
something?
here.
Why would there be a trick console in Kane's office? Like, no matter what we press,
It sounds like a
Kane's
children's
gonna know
book.
we were
Pomni
here.
pays
We should
attention.
push it.
Hey, get on to
Hold
that.
on.
Yeah, that might be a
Let's
good
just
seller.
Wait a
best
second
seller.
and go over everything we know, and maybe we can.
And then here it comes in. This is where Jax feels like he's being manipulated because of the PTSD, the trauma. Exactly, I agree with you, Chase. Like, it's great how Pomni is trying to figure out all of these things. Just trying to make sense of it all. No, Jax! In this case, you were supposed to choose the blue, not the red!
Do?
Oh, just the... Come back to this. Just the abject horror. Jax knows in this moment that he's screwed up. He just made a bad choice. He knows it. A horrible, selfish choice. And he knows that he knows it. He knows this is wrong. In this moment, he knows it's wrong. And now the curtain is withdrawn. Kinger's just like, what's going on? And Pomni's suddenly like, oh, like Pomni and Rag, they're finally like, they get it. Like, no, it can't be. It can't be. Decount, the same with Kinger and his pillow fort. What was it he was trying to tell Pomni? Yeah, we don't know. Kinger should have stayed in the fort. Jack shows his true colors and then tries to deflect. Yeah, he starts deflecting the moment that he realizes that he can blame this all on Kane for the situation.
Congratulations, my little cattywampus cucumbers! You picked the good ending, where you realize you'd rather stay with me than go back to that pesky old macroverse or whatever we decide to call it.
Here's another meme. This is another meme moment. I know this is like absolute horror going on right here, but caption this moment. when the family sees my not for family photos, there's your caption. There's your caption moment. Whoop. When you realize the camera was on the whole time. The scene with Jackson's flashback of the real world in the woods gave me major trauma and anxiety on a whole other level. Well, I felt a panic attack come my way. It was a bit primal. It was well animated panic attack. Like, kudos, absolute kudos to the team with Gooseworks and her team for capturing what a panic attack or PTSD or trauma or a bad memory can feel like. And maybe not what it feels like for everyone, but show it in a realistic way for a cartoon character. And that's honestly not easy. Like, you think, oh yeah, PTSD, everyone understands that, but as a friend of mine once said, she's like, most people think that PTSD means wig out, but she's like, no, most people have PTSD then they mostly get intense tunnel vision, and they feel compelled to do one or two things, and that's all they can think about. It's not that they wig out; they just can't be stopped from doing what they feel they must do, whatever the response is. And she actually had a really good example of that is in the movie Skull Island, where Samuel Jackson's character is experiencing PTSD, and he never wigs out. He doesn't start shooting up the place or screaming, saying, I've had enough of these mother effing apes on this mother effing island, and then start blowing stuff up. Nothing like that. He just becomes focused, single-minded, and he's like, I will kill this thing. Even though it makes no sense, and he doesn't have the means to do it, but he starts trying to do it because that's the response. And you get to see that play out in a much more animated and visual way with Jax. It's very appropriate, very applicable. Tiana says, I think the scene was more like Jax reaching his breaking point, like he had scribbles on his eyes throughout that scene. Yeah, no, he had reached his breaking point. And the scary intrusive thoughts commence. Oh, yeah. Cain has never shown an ability to directly affect free will. Any action that affects the brain shows that the person aware of it, therefore free will is still intact. And I would argue that I don't think that Cain actually did anything to Jax's brain in that moment, but that Jax found a way to blame Cain for the memories. Was that scene supposed to make us hate Jax? I think that this scene is meant to make us question what's going on. Again, just seeing this right here, just the horror, because they've been manipulated. Every single one of them was played by Cain. And he did it brilliantly. Remember, at the beginning of the episode with all the dumb fish, that's what they expected from Cain. This was on another level. He and Abel played them. And in this moment, they realize it. Even if it hasn't fully dawned on them, they know that Cain just played them all. To what extent, it hasn't yet seeped in. But it does as the scene plays out.
Knew you'd make the right choice.
You mean this was all...
An adventure! Yes! And one I've been cooking up for a good long while. Great job playing your part, Abel!
All in a good day's
boy.
work. By the way, you think I could get a raise after that performance?
Oh, you're getting too smart. Time to delete.
Then he just goes. And there we go back to the hot dog. Oh my gosh. It says there's quite a few good PTSD scenes in Expedition 33-2. It really shows the incomprehension that comes with shock and the determination that comes to help cope with grief. Exactly. And that's I think one of the best ways to understand PTSD and its portrayal in fiction is that when characters wig out, that's not really PTSD. That's the misconception of PTSD. But but real PTSD within a fictional story, when it's done well, is again the shock that characters have, the determination, the single-mindedness that they feel afterwards, because it is a way of coping, either to fix the problem or to flee from it. And that's how it is. And ultimately, PTSD isn't violent, it's just illogical in the situation. It doesn't make any sense, but it is something that's born out of the trauma that a character has gone through. Should have listened to Kinger. Yeah, but Kinger also walked out of the fort. He should have just called out from the fort. Also, the color scheme of Pomni's jester costume has a red-blue color combo. Ragatha too, with her blue-eyed dress and red hair. I wonder if that has any symbolism too. Maybe, with Pom, I think maybe it's closer with Pomni. That Pomni is the one because Cain is trying to better understand Pomni and suit her tastes and her desires, and this is a quest that finally fully played to that. Pomni was caught hook, line, and sinker.
None of that was true. The CNA stuff, the pods. The way out?
A fabrication of my incredible world-building skills.
Man, I really want to believe that all of our theories are correct, but this is one of those moments where I think that Gooseworks is trying to say, guys, you had great theories. They just weren't true. Now get ready for whatever I do have in store for you. But first, a rant from Jax. Conquer says, I'm back, just finished the episode. What the heck was that ending? Oh, we've gotten to that ending.
I was right? I can't believe I was right!
Jack's overreacting to compensate for the situation.
Oh, I didn't put too much thought into
And
that one because I knew you'd never pick it.
for the
So I left
deflection.
that up to Bubble.
I made it take you to Shrimp Town.
Yeah, it was gonna take you to Shrimp Town.
Oh, Shrimp Town. Oh, that face.
You dirty liar! You scumbag! You made me... You got in my head! You just lie about everything, don't you?
Huh?
You can mess with our minds too, can't you? The stupid sauce, the vegan thing, God knows what else!
So right there, Jax finally starts making some connections because those connections are important. But because he uses it for deflection, it misleads both the audience and the cast because those enhancements are important to understand. Yep, Chase is right. This is where Jax starts to deflect. And Tyler says, I can't believe that Jax was right all along. He really broke big time. Oh yeah, he's breaking. Whew.
Our names?
No, hold on, guys. Wait. I may have the ability.
So Gangle is just sad. Kinger's just taking all of this in, and with all of that blinding light, he's back to just poor dumb Kinger. Ragatha is broken, getting close to angry, and Zubul is just furious. We got fury right there.
To add temporary modifiers to make adventures more interesting, but that's it. If I did anything more, trust me, it would not end well.
Scratch the first abstraction.
And there we got it. Scratch the first abstraction. Because Kane did something. Now then, this is where it gets fascinating. Because again, is Kane subconsciously trying to tell people that there's something wrong with the system? Because there's definitely something wrong with the system. Or is it a problem that Kane accidentally created while trying to accommodate the situation that all of these humans find themselves in? Who knows? We're still missing the key context to just make sense of it all. And plus, this is a great look from Kane. Ragatha's eye was actually twitching. Ragatha's like, oh, I love that twitch in the eye. Like how Adam and Eve tried to deflect to avoid accountability. Human nature is deflecting blame.
Hey,
you don't like being
say
blamed.
anything
You don't like being
that.
shamed.
Come on, guys. You know I'm just here to have fun. Questioning's over. Your prize is this lovely gift basket of...
Oh, man, poor... And this is actually a moment where, as awful as this is, for everyone involved, like, oddly enough, my heart kind of goes a bit out to Kane because he engineered this to have experiences with the players, with the humans, that he wasn't getting any other way. The thing is that, as I said at the beginning of the episode, people have just kind of gotten used to the fact that they're going to go on adventures, and they're okay with that. Thanks to Pomni being around and being a positive force at this point in the story, the crew was coming together. They really were. We were seeing the positive relationships between everyone other than Jax because of, well, Jax being Jax. And if Kane just continued to roll with it, he would have the adventures, he would have the good time, and maybe even some of them would start warming up to him in time. But he went the route of manipulation. He's been caught. And everyone loses in this moment, which is why the episode ends right here.
Soaps and lotions. Stay fragrant. Have a good night. Fragrant night. Bye.
And there you have it. Kane realizing he messed up. Oh, yeah, he messed up. I think Kane wanted to be liked, but the way he went about it may have caused problems. Oh, it definitely caused problems. Then Concreft says, I think Jack's panic attack was way too conveniently timed to be natural. I think Kane looked into Jack's thoughts and triggers to force this reaction with forced flashbacks. There is the possibility of that. And it can't be entirely ruled out, I'll be honest. But at the same time, because of what Jax was going through in his room, he was already primed to choose to remain in the circus. Because, based on his conversation with Zubul, we can infer that there's no one waiting for him on the other side. Or at least no one that he cares about. And we know now that he is totally eaten up by what has happened in the past there in the circus. His whole persona and everything is his way of pushing people like Pomni away because he's hurt others. And I think Jax is self-aware enough that maybe he doesn't want to go back to the real world because he is kind of a bit of a monster. So he's been so it's a good question. Did Kane influence him, or was this a bit of conditioning based on everything else that's happened in the episode? Or, as I've hypothesized, is there another monster in the system that's also working on the characters? We've got 2 more episodes to go. It's going to be something. And Waffle is here. Woohoo! Great to have you here, Waffy. PTSD tends to come at inopportune times, absolutely. And then Conquer says, I didn't mean that Kane made Jax do it. Jax was primed for this reaction, and Kane used forced flashbacks to turn the 70 or so % odds to pressing the blue button into 100%, which could be the case. Waffy says, I had a theory that Jax killed someone in his real life, and the digital circus is basically his way of escaping prison. That's why we get those brief flashes of the house and the road. And Waffy, I think he did end up killing someone. I think it's more by accident. I think he was driving drunk. That's my personal theory, is that he was driving drunk and either hurt an innocent or hurt friends in the car or a family member. But he got someone hurt. That's my strong working theory at the moment. So, yeah, there you have it. That was this episode. Holy cow. It's a lot. And dang, it's beautiful. It's beautifully written. It's a great way of building up on all of the stuff that's been introduced to us, all of the character development, the world building, the choices that have been made, little details about their past, their personality, everything. It's good. So good. And I've seen a lot of fun and well-written shows, but the Amazing Digital Circus for an indie product, maybe it's also because of the stigma that indie has, that you just expect that it's not going to be on par with a multi-million-dollar production that can bring in all the people necessary to make it perfect. But Gooseworks and her team, through Glitch, have done an amazing job at just making such a solid, incredible story with fantastic continuity, strong characters, intriguing world building, great setups, well written, well paced moments, episodes. It's awesome. And really, we're left with a moment where we don't know where things are going to go from this point on. The story has set itself up for the group dynamic to be broken into pieces. We have got 2 more episodes to go, but everyone's going to be questioning everything. The hope has been torn away from all of them, all at the same time. We've already, though, been given the key for how the characters can move forward. We know, thanks to what Kinger told Pomni back in episode 3, that it's about spending time with the people who matter to you. It's about making the most of each moment, even when it's awful. And Kinger should know, because Kinger's been in there the longest. Kinger's been stuck. Kinger lost his wife. And yet he's still able to find the good, the silver lining, the happy moments, despite everything that's happened to him. So can Pomni, because Pomni is the driving force in the story. Can Pomni take that lesson at what is now her new lowest moment and make it count? That's the big question for going forward into episode 8. And if I recall correctly, let me just double check this right here. If I recall correctly, I believe they said that they wanted to release chapters 8 and 9 like either on the same day or really close to each other. Amazing Digital Circus, episodes 8 and 9. They're supposed to be very long, 40, 45 minutes. Oh, fantastic. Let's see here. I feel like it was said that they'd be released either on the same day or close to each other, but I'm not seeing any evidence for that. So in any case, yeah, we've been primed for some big stuff to happen. I'm so dang excited. It's gonna be phenomenal. Okay, so let me catch it right here. The cartoon chaotic to accept the copy can't recombine with. Okay, whoop! I'm missing something right there. So this episode was crazy and it's great. Soma is in the video game. Yep, the theory that all the casts are AI copies of the real selves and the real versions just put on the VR headset and then left when it did nothing. Like the cartoon chaotic to accept the copy can't recombine with the real one. And Mimic says, also in the last stream, I wondered if we'll see Jax in a Speedo for this beach episode. And so we got a naked Jax. I'm sold for life. I still haven't forgiven him for bullying Gangle. Jax's future is not looking so good, to be honest. Yep. Honestly, that button pressing scene was a straight up test of Jax's morality, and he failed. If that button had been real, he would have doomed everyone purely out of selfishness. Exactly. And I think this is one of the reasons. I think this is one of those instances, I believe this falls in line with what Gooseworks had said, that Jax would do something or had done something or would do something that would be seen as irredeemable. And this is one of those moments where it's like, yeah, no, Jax really did fail. Question is, what does Jax do from this point on? Can he be redeemed or is he doomed? Oh, we shall find out. But what would someone having a panic attack and acting out of nothing but adrenaline really be blamed? I don't know. It's just something I thought of. And yeah, I mean, this is a controversial moment. I think that it's very clear that Jax is acting out of selfishness. But if we're paying attention to the scenes, I think that it makes him a far more nuanced character. He's not a mustache twirling villain, nor is he an unrepentant, horrible individual. Rather, he is a horrible person because of something that's happened. And we're learning very slowly what that could be. That's the way that's the way I approach it. Jax has been a bad guy, but there's nuance behind it. You can't just write him off. Or if you do, then, well, I mean, that's up to you. But That's the way that I see it. Let's see. Chase says Jax did not need to feed the fear. This is always a choice. True. And as I said towards the beginning, as I said towards the beginning of the stream, that even if they had I actually think it would have been even crueler if they had hit the red button. All right, not the red button. If they had hit the blue button, that's the one. As I keep thinking Matrix. Gah! If they had hit the blue button and gone to Shrimp Town, it would have actually been even worse. Because they would have realized that they had all been manipulated. They would have had the euphoria of escaping, only for that then to be torn away. It would have taken them to an even greater height before absolutely cutting them at the Achilles and bringing them to their lowest point. It would have been crueler to do that. Now, Jack showed a little bit more of his true self in the process, which is a good or a bad thing, depending on how you look at it. It was definitely the wrong move to make, given who all these people are and what they're trying to do. Yeah. No, this is a moment where, again, people will have their own opinion, will have some very strong opinions. And I look forward to how this whole scene will be dissected. Oh, Kane's trying to manipulate you too, Lars. Be careful. I've already been manipulated. I got manipulated early on in the episode, as I said, because I was like, no, there's no way that Abel is on the level. This is all a trick. And because we've been primed to go against Jax at this point, and the way that the conversations flowed, and because Abel provided all the answers, even though I was like, yeah, no, there's no way this is real. There's no way this is real. I still got caught. I got caught. So there you have it. All right. Whew. So I'll have to do a real good sit down review and analysis of this latest episode, collect my thoughts a little bit better, and then release that. But you guys have had the chance to go to process this episode live with me, and whew, what a doozy it was. Now, to shift the gears, because we are in the holiday season, I want to share with you guys before I end tonight, I want to share with you guys 12 Christmas movies. So I kind of think like the 12 days of Christmas. On the first day of Christmas, my true love gave to me a partridge in a pear tree. So kind of like that, except I'm going to give you guys, you're not my true loves, but you guys are the amazing audience that gives this channel life. Without you, we would just be screaming into the abyss of the internet. So thank you so much, everyone, for your support and for being here. So though you may not be my truest of loves, you are indeed the truest of supporters. So I wish to share with you 12 Christmas movies, specifically movies that were impactful to me as a kid. These are the ones that I would watch again and again and again every Christmas going forward. Now, time to rewatch Klaus. Klaus is a classic. It's a modern classic. If you've not seen Klaus on Netflix, I highly recommend it. It's such a beautiful movie. But Klaus is a movie of my adulthood, not a movie of my childhood, so unfortunately it's not on the list. If I were a kid who'd seen Klaus, oh man, you better believe this movie would be on the list. The fact that there was a red and blue button and pressing the wrong one would ruin everything forever should have been a massive red flag. Pun intended. I had a slight suspicion when Abel tried to have the cast sympathize with Kane, but the rest just don't care. Yeah, the sympathizing with Kane. Well, the thing is that I mean, if you've been theorizing along the same lines that I have, I've sympathized with Kane in the past. So he got me there. And in the end, Cain still killed off Abel, just like in the Bible. Rest in power, Abel. Hey, there you have it. That was one fan theory that came to pass. Cain did kill Abel. All right. So I am. So I'm going to give you guys, in kind of no particular order, these 12 Christmas movies, introduce them to you if you've never seen them before, and talk about why I think that they're really so good. And one of the ones that I will give, right, one of the ones I will start off, the one that I'll start off with is, well, it's kind of an interesting one. It is the Care Bears Nutcracker. Yeah, this is a thing. Actually, it's not a bad movie. It's incredibly cheesy. It's the 80s power of friendship, though it was made in the 90s. There's some definite changes that make you realize, oh yeah, this is not it. This is not the traditional 80s cartoon. This is the 90s level up from it. But this is actually a pretty intense retelling of the Nutcracker with the Care Bears. It's like, the funny thing is this, like, we think that cartoons and the likes were very heavily edited for kids back in the day. Oh no, this movie shows like one of the main characters theoretically getting killed. They're like, what could have happened to him? Oh, he was killed. And they straight up say he was killed in a big fight with the Vizier. There's some really dark moments in this movie, and some pretty heavy stuff for kids as well. The whole thing is kicked off because you got the blonde-haired girl, Anna, who is all sad because her best friend has moved away, and now she's all alone for Christmas. And so the Care Bears come to provide some holiday cheer to her. And suddenly, the Nutcracker from Toyland shows up, and he's being chased by the Rat King and his minions. And so they fight back, and they actually manage to push the Rat King and his minions back into Toyland. And the Nutcracker remembers, like, I need to go back to Toyland. I need something to save my friends. And so the Care Bears call for all of the Care Bear reinforcements to arrive, which they do. And they then go to help save Toyland. So you kind of have a little bit of it, like Babes in Toyland meets the Nutcracker Ballet. And it gets intense. There's a lot of fighting. There is straight up murder in this show, right? Especially in this movie. Like, it definitely taps back into some of its 80s roots, where like No Heart is straight up like, I will kill the Care Bears. I will kill those Care Bears. Like, you get that in this movie. I kind of wish that they had taken out the Vizier because he looks really cheesy and just put in No Heart instead. Have No Heart and Beastly doing their shenanigans trying to kill the Care Bears, and then this movie would be an absolute 10 out of 10. But it's really intense. It's actually pretty fun as well. Is it a really faithful adaptation of the Nutcracker? Absolutely not. But one of the things I do like about it is not just simply the whole like Christmas, like there's a good Christmas theme running throughout it about what Christmas really means. It's not about the gifts, but about the people you share it with. But wait a second. What if your special someone or your special friends or family that you want to share Christmas with aren't there with you? That's actually a good, serious question. And it's one that a lot of kids deal with. Like, what if my favorite cousins aren't here for Christmas? What if my crush isn't here for Christmas? What if my family isn't around for Christmas? What if I'm away for Christmas? And it is instead, the message is that you can still have a wonderful Christmas with new friends. You're able to go out there and make friends with other people. There's all kinds of opportunities out there in the world. Christmas is a time to bring people together. And that's what you should focus on. And that's the deeper meaning of this movie, because Anna, at the end, the Care Bears are going to stick around forever. The Care Bears leave. The Nutcracker has to stay in Toyland to protect his kingdom. So Anna's alone again. But that Anna has learned to open up her heart now to other people, allowing her the chance to make new friends. And that's the special message, and that's one of the reasons why it works really well. And just right there in that shot, yes, you just saw a bunch of characters petrified. Like I said, characters die in this movie. It's intense. Ugh. Concrete says from the 90s based on the 80s, recommended in late 2025. Oh yeah, we've come a long way. This movie's been waiting 30 years to be recommended to you. The Care Bears are the ultimate friendship crew in my childhood. Eat your heart out, My Little Ponies. Mr. Lars, you are an incredible man of culture. Yes, but I was also raised on the My Little Pony movie. I know both. And Berenstain Bears. I can't take that Rat King seriously after seeing the Rat King from Adventure Time and the one from Hilda. Oh man, the Rat King from Hilda. Oh, that's some good creepy stuff. Hilda's such a good cartoon. I love the charming animation in this wholesome movie too. Yeah, the animation is really good. The animation is legitimately good throughout this movie. And if you like the Care Bears, it's good. If you've never seen the Care Bears before, it's actually not a bad introduction to the Care Bears. Something that really downgrades a Christmas movie for me is whether or not it does the whole, it's not the gifts or magic, it's the spirit of Christmas that matters, followed by the twist that magic was real all along. Oh, because magic is real. That's the whole thing with Christmas. Christmas works because the magic is real. I mean, yeah. But I see where you're coming from, Common Craft. All right. So that's the Care Bears Nutcracker. Now then, here's a crazy one for you. National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation. This movie, this is a movie that my folks were like, yeah, no, you're not watching this unless it's edited on television, because yeah, it's kind of a raunchy, irreverent romp for Christmas. So what you have is you've got Chevy Chase, who is this father who is trying to make the perfect Christmas experience for his family. He's invited everyone together to his nice big house to have the works, a massive live Christmas tree. The house is going to be decorated to the point where it's going to blind people in outer space. They're going to go and do all of the traditions. They're going to have all the eggnog. They're going to have all the gifts, everything. And it's just one disaster after the other. It's all hilarious. Jason's like, this one, yes. Now then, the thing that I really love about this particular movie, now that I look, like as a kid, I loved it for the laughs, especially for when the cat gets electrocuted. I love cats, but that's such a hilarious moment. As an adult, what I love about this movie is that it addresses something that so many of us have gone through when it comes to Christmas, and that is nostalgia. There are moments in our past, especially when it comes to Christmas, that you're like, I want to recreate that. I wish I could do that again, because that was just so magical. That Christmas was magic. But in a conversation I recently had with Scott, Scott is like, can you actually ever relive that moment that you feel nostalgic for? Or is nostalgia just hype? Can you ever recreate it? And Scott said, I won't be able to say it as well as he did in the moment, but he was all like, you can never relive and you can never recapture what happened in the past, but you can experience the same feelings again, or close to it. And so when it comes to Christmas time, don't get all hung up on trying to make the perfect experience or trying to recreate that perfect moment you remember from your childhood or from your teenage years or even as an adult from your adult years. But rather try to make each Christmas, each special moment actually special. Make every moment count. You will never be able to recapture the magic from the past, but you can feel it again. And you can make new special moments, new happy moments. And that's what lies at the heart of National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation. Amongst all the laughs. You go through all the laughs and all the raunch, to get to that message that's delivered quite beautifully in its own way by Chevy Chase's dad towards the end of the film. After everything's gone to hell in a handbasket. Let's see. I only catch up with some of the stuff you guys have said right here. Don't worry, Mr. Lars. I was raised on My Little Pony too. I just wanted to be funny. Comic says one of the worst for me was a Barbie one-off episode where the little girl makes up a whole bizarre fairy thing. Everyone gets into hijinks to preserve her innocence. She laughs at them because she made it up, and then it turns out the blatantly fake fairy tale was real all along. But nobody but the little girl sees the fairy was real. Oh, oof. Yeah, that's kind of rough. Don't worry, Mr. Lars. I was raised on My Little Pony. And yep, make new beautiful memories. That's what you should do every Christmas. Also, okay, let me share a moment that will never be recreated in in any of my experiences. But man, this is a fantastic Christmas memory. So, one Christmas years ago, I was at my oldest sister's place. We got all the family from Tucson all together, her in-laws, my side of the family. We had just had a fantastic Christmas dinner, all German style, so with all the great German food, and we had been sipping on loads of bubbly. I must say non-alcoholic, otherwise I get really in trouble for what happens next. But we all had our bubbly, and we all been enjoying our martinellis. And when it was time to start getting everyone on over into the living room to get ready for Heilige Abend, on the 24th in the German tradition, is when you open up your Christmas presents. So we're getting ready, and my youngest niece at the time, she double-backed when she thought no one was looking and went back to the dining room tables. And there were all of these half-drunk cups of Martinelli drinks, pear, apple, raspberry, and so forth. And she began sneaking down all of the little wine glasses and drinking the Martinellis and then putting them back up on the table. So I double backed because I'm like, I want more goulash. It's so tasty. And then I watched as one by one glasses started disappearing under the table. And I was like, what's going on? So like I sneakily walked around the table to because maybe it was a cat. I didn't know what was going on. And then I lifted up I lifted up the tablecloth, and there's my niece drinking a Martinelli. She looks at me, finishes it, puts it back on the table, and then proceeds to take another one off the table and get back under her. It just keeps drinking from everyone's unfinished wine glasses. It's just like, you do you. Just put the cover back down. Oh, that will never be repeated. No, I could ask her. She's now in college. I could now ask her and be like, "Hey, you want to recreate that moment? Get under the table and steal everyone's drinks." Oh man, another movie I used to watch religiously growing up was The Polar Express. Again, I didn't grow up with The Polar Express, so it's not going to be on the list here. But a movie that is most definitely on the list and should also be on everyone's list is Frosty the Snowman. Was a jolly, happy soul with a corncob pipe and a button nose and 2 eyes made out of coal. This one's just a classic. This is just fun. Back in the day when they would make movies just off of songs, you know what? I mean, for Mariah Carey's take on All I Want for Christmas Is You. That's basically every Hallmark movie in existence. So yeah, they've made movies of that song as well. But one of the things I like about the Frosty the Snowman animated movie is not just how soft and genuine it feels. It's a very kid-friendly feel movie. But when Frosty dies, Like, that's a legit horrifying moment. And that's something that you would not get in movies today. But back in the day, they're like, oh yeah, no, Frosty's going to melt. Frosty's going to get murdered by the wicked magician. And then he's going to be rescued by Santa Claus. And why is that in there? It's in there because they're like, hey, look, Frosty's a snowman. He's going to melt. And we're going, and it actually allows for a really, like, it delivers a really beautiful emotional moment. At first you're sad. It's the beautifully sung moment of Frosty melting. And then Santa comes in, and Santa then comforts the little girl and then says, well, Frosty was made of Christmas snow. And Christmas snow is a special thing. And at first it seems kind of silly, but it's a beautiful nostalgic way to reach out to both adults and to kids of like, Christmas is special. There's something special about this season. And things like the first Christmas snow, if you manage to get snow. I don't get snow down here in the desert, but the first Christmas snow, like if you've ever experienced that, oh my gosh, it is magical. Or that Christmas present that you love, or that one Christmas moment. That there's effectively the Frosty the Snowman movie has this fun, unique way of saying Christmas is magical, and buy into that magic. That there's something special about this season, and it's a message that even a kid can understand. It's just delivered so well. And honestly, you don't get movies like that so often anymore. Klaus is probably the only Christmas movie made recently that hits that same level of magic and poignant messaging that you got back in the day with something like Frosty the Snowman, which is kind of crazy to think that silly old Frosty the Snowman could be a poignant story, but it is. Then Conqueror says, I watched Frosty, but my recollection is all eased up. I don't even remember if I'm remembering the right one. Frosty is the OG Olaf. Oh, he absolutely is. Just remembering a comment I read mentioning about Disney Lorcana game having the mechanic of turning cards into ink to power magic is sort of horrifying if you see it like melting characters in the ink. Oof. Yeah, no, that is kind of scary. Oh, Tyler. Yep. The Disney bought into Sora 2. So very, very quick tangent. Disney bought into the reason why Disney sued OpenAI is because they want control over how AI will represent their characters. Now, some people are saying, Disney's just getting on with the times. No. Disney wants to be in control of the situation. And Disney is basically going to be a pirate of the pirates. It is a very underhanded blow. And it's also their way of making sure that they can claim. You know how they've announced that people will be able to make AI content on Disney Plus? This is their way of being able to also take over whatever content you create. AI creators are about to find their worlds rocked because they thought that they were going to be able to own whatever they created because they stole all the images. Oh no, AI creators, and let's put creators into very heavy quotation marks here. AI creators, or better yet, AI, not AI contractors, AI commissioners, because that's really what they are. AI commissioners are about to find all of their works stolen. They've stolen everyone else's work. What Disney has just done with OpenAI and with Sora is lay the foundation for companies to now steal all your work legally if you make it with AI. That is what has just happened, and people are not paying attention. Disney has already pulled this stunt before with Cleanflix, which is the crazy story of how we eventually got to Angel Studios. Angel Studios would not exist without Disney throttling them way back in the day. but Disney did it in order to control whatever Cleanflix made. And this is just Disney getting ready, getting primed to own what people try to make using AI. And if you decide to be an AI content creator, to be an AI commissioner and pass yourself off as an artist, you deserve what Disney's about to do to you. I'm sorry, that's just the truth of the matter. All right, so there's that tangent done. Let's get to something far better. Yes, Charlie Brown's Christmas. This movie is amazing. It's so good. And one of the things that truly makes it great is that it boldly said, yeah, this is what Christmas is. Now then, there's all kinds of Christmas traditions. Christmas originally came from a pagan holiday, let's be honest. There's all different kinds of Christmas traditions. So many that I don't know, so many that you don't even know. And that's absolutely fine. But Christmas at its heart, what it means, especially in the Christian world, is it's the celebration of the birth of Jesus Christ. And what makes the Charlie Brown Christmas special work so well is that you've got Charlie Brown going up against commercialism. Everyone is so focused on their plays, on their parties, on their presents, that they're not giving much thought to what the true meaning of Christmas is. Charlie Brown's trying to find what the true meaning of Christmas is because he can feel that there's something missing. And he wants Christmas to be special. And he's trying his absolute hardest. It's so beautiful, but he keeps failing. And so when he's all like, can someone please tell me what Christmas is all about? And then Linus steps in and then quotes right on out of Matthew. And there was in the same country fields, shepherds. There was in the same country fields, shepherds, abiding shepherds, keeping watch over their flocks by night. And lo, an angel of the Lord came upon them, and the glory of the Lord shone round about them, and they were sore afraid. And the angel said to them, fear not, for behold, I bring you good tidings of great joy, which shall be to all people. For unto you this day is born in the city of David a Savior, which is Christ the Lord. And there shall be a sign unto you. You shall find the babe wrapped in swaddling clothes, lying in a manger. And there was suddenly with the angel a multitude of the heavenly hosts, singing praises unto God, and saying, glory to God in the highest, and on earth peace, goodwill toward men. And that is the culmination of the Christian, that should be the culmination of the Christian belief and faith. For a holiday in which you're supposed to celebrate the birth of Jesus, if that's what you believe in, if that's what you celebrate, that's the message. Christmas can have all these things. It's okay to have your Christmas parties, your Christmas decorations, your Christmas presents, your Christmas plays, all of that. That's good stuff. It is. But if that ever begins feeling hollow to you, it's probably because you're missing out on the purpose of the season, which is to believe, to worship. What is it that you worship and believe in? It is a source of hope, a source of peace, a person whose message and example, if you're a Christian, you're supposed to strive for. And that's a very powerful message. And it's a message that CBS was very afraid of broadcasting. But Schultz, the creator of the Peanuts, of Charlie Brown, was like, no, I need this in here. Because that's the message. That's the whole point. Everything that Charlie Brown tries to do, he fails at. Because it's commercial. Because it's earthly. And you will always fail in that regard. So you will always experience failure. But you can find hope and peace and purpose in a much higher ideal, in a much higher belief. In this case, for the Christian world, it's Christ. And that is beautiful. It's done without being preachy, even though Linus straight up quotes scripture. But he's like, Charlie Brown, that's the whole reason. We celebrate Christmas because we're celebrating the birth of Jesus. Why? Well, if you don't know why, go get to know him. The Prince of Peace, the messenger of the of a new age, of an age of charity, of forgiveness, of love. And whether or not you believe in Christ, those are all good things. Don't we all want more love? Shouldn't we all forgive ourselves a little bit more, forgive other people? Shouldn't we all be a little bit more charitable towards others? Don't we want peace on earth? Those are all great values that Christmas represents, and that's what the Peanuts movie tries to get across. And it does it in a way that's not preachy. It presents the idea to you. And then it leaves Charlie Brown to try to find it in his own way. Just like for all of us, trying to find peace and happiness in the holiday season is something meant to be found in our own way. And that's awesome. That's one of the things that makes the Charlie Brown Christmas movie a true classic that stands the test of time. Not just that it's a Christian message, but how it delivers the Christian message. It's fantastic. All right, let me catch up here with some of the stuff you guys are saying. So Sora AI2 is evil. Yes, it's evil. This Frosty the Snowman movie was adorable. I remember watching it back in elementary school, and my class was having a Christmas party, and we all wore our pajamas. Oh, man, I would love to have gone to school in pajamas to watch Frosty the Snowman. Disney, I'll never understand you. I will never understand Disney under Bob Iger. This man is just chasing weird fantasies and self-destructing at the same time. No dream is worth your self-destruction. That's an important message. There's an important life lesson. Dreams are beautiful. Chase your dreams, but do not be like Mr. Silver from Treasure Planet. You give up a few things chasing a dream. Don't give up a few. Do not give up important things to chase a dream. Dreams are great, but you got to take care of yourself. Don't sacrifice important people or important values in your life to chase a dream. It's not worth it. Yes, Charlie Brown, a classic. This cartoon was truly ahead of its time. Concrest says, as an ethically made AI, Beetle's creation is not ethical because Nero considers ethics an ice cream flavor. This is what ethics tastes like, folks. There's nothing wrong with failure. Absolutely not. So long as we learn from failure and we keep picking ourselves up. Nick says, I love how each of these Christmas holiday movies have their own message and meanings of what Christmas is all about. Exactly. Nick says, by the way, the story with your niece was absolutely hilarious, Mr. Lars. She did not give a damn at all. Honestly, it kind of sounds like something Zubul would do. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. And I remind her of it every now and then. So, like, I remember when you drank all the Martinellis under the table. And also, she was going a little bit pink from it all. Martinellis are not alcoholic, but they're very bubbly. They will have an effect on you. And after she drank like all the cups dry, when she walked back into the living room or the presence where she was pink in the face. All right, let's do another movie. And for this one, we've got Jim Carrey's How the Grinch Stole Christmas. This right here. This is a fun one. So really, you can't beat the original cartoon. It's just so good. With Boris Karloff, you're a mean one, Mr. Grinch. You're a nasty, wasky skunk. All that good stuff. The thing is that this movie, this movie helped to set a standard which almost no other movie has ever managed to meet. There have been a few, but not many, where it's like, you know what? What if we did try to explain why the Grinch is who he is and how he got to be? And they went like, and I think one of the reasons why it worked so well is because it all made sense. Their world building, their explanation for how the Grinch became who he became. Like, it all makes sense, but it also didn't take itself seriously. If this movie tried to take itself seriously, it would never have worked. This movie is chaotic and goofy from beginning to end. And so it works. I recently rewatched it, and while it's still beautiful to have the Grinch's heart grew 3 sizes that day, and Jim Carrey does his best to sell it, the original cartoon version, I think, still has a much more powerful moment because since it isn't padded out with all the zaniness and weirdness that Jim Carrey and the script brings, it can be way more powerful as the Grinch is listening to the Who's sing, and he's like, somehow or rather it came just the same. It came without packages, it came without tags, it came without boxes or bags. And then the Grinch, as the Grinch puzzled and puzzled till his puzzler was sore, the Grinch thought of something he hadn't before. Perhaps Christmas doesn't come from a store. The Grinch thought, perhaps, maybe Christmas means a little bit more. Now, in this case, the story of the Grinch works as well as it does, not just because, we explained where the Grinch came from, and it all makes sense, woohoo, and it's so goofy and funny, and Ron Howard was having a blast with it, with Jim Carrey. But that, where the Peanuts is like, the meaning of Christmas is Jesus. How the Grinch Stole Christmas is like, look, the meaning of Christmas is far more than presents or parties. Christmas means something more. Now, Dr. Seuss doesn't say what that something more is. It's an invitation to the audience to think about what Christmas should mean to you. So if you don't want the Christian message, but you want a good Christmassy message, How the Grinch Stole Christmas does beautifully. Because it invites you to discover for yourself what Christmas really means. And to realize that you're not going to find it in the presents or in the parties, but somewhere else. What did the Who's have that the Grinch didn't? And that's something that the live action movie tries to explore a little bit more. That what the Who's had that the Grinch didn't was that they had family. They had each other. At the end of the day, all of the presents didn't mean a thing without family. And without the presents there, family meant everything. And so that's what the live action tries to get across, is that's all about family. And that's amazing on its own. But the cartoon invites you even more to think about what Christmas truly means. And so if you're wondering, what does Christmas mean to me? The Grinch invites you to explore that and to find out for yourself. Sorry, what I meant to say is I am Frank Elda? Wait, what? Okay, I missed something. Sidebar, has anyone gotten a chance to see I Am Frankenella? No, I've not seen it. And then Congress says, I love this one. I watched both this and the cartoon. Yeah, both are great. Excuse me. Conquest says, I personally believe this movie was the sole reason I was primed to initially like the live action adaptation before Disney ruined it, but maybe even convinced Disney of the idea too. The legendary Jim Carrey, from the Grinch to Eggman himself, quite an evolution. Jim, you're a legend. Oh yeah, Jim Carrey's fantastic. And then, yep, Christmas means something different to everyone, as it should. Concraft, honestly, when I was younger, I liked the live-action Grinch more than the cartoon, only because the Dr. Seuss style makes the translation such a headache. My autistic young brain couldn't follow the cartoon at all. Oh, I can see that. If you're trying to make it all rhymey like Dr. Seuss, yeah, no, it's in translation, it must be an absolute pain. Now, a little fun sidebar before we move on to the next movie. I had a professor in college who taught medieval, early modern Italian literature and poetry. So as we were reading Dante's Inferno, which is all in rhyme in the original Italian, and it sounds really cool. He's like, do you guys want to know who the best poet of all time is? And of course, everyone's like, it's Dante Alighieri. And others are all like, maybe it's like Robert Frost. And there's the English majors. They're like, well, actually, it's this one person. Then they name someone who you've never heard before, or someone's like, it's Shakespeare. And the professor's like, those are all good guesses, but you're all wrong. the best poet of all time is Dr. Seuss. And he's like, trust me, when you have read One Fish, Two Fish for the 100th time to your young daughter, you begin to see all the meaning in that poetry. There's really no meaning to One Fish, Two Fish. But it's just like, yeah, Dr. Seuss writes in such a way that his rhymes get stuck in your head more so than almost anyone else. Also, Dr. Seuss made a lot of really hilarious anti-Nazi cartoons back in the day. You should look them up. Congress, especially because I only learned English in my teens. I watched the Grinch cartoon as a kid. The rhyming and odd words made the whole thing unintelligible to me, and I only understood what happened because... I'll wait for the next because. And we then get to the chaotic Home Alone. Oh, man. What a fantastic Christmas movie. Now then, Home Alone 2 would also be on this list if I actually watched Home Alone 2 more often as a kid. My family did not own the second movie, and because we didn't have cable, it was almost never on television. So I only had, growing up, the first movie. So as a result, like, I have actually never even seen the entirety of Home Alone 2. I know, shocker and a crime. But man, the first Home Alone movie is just fantastic. It's absolutely playing out what would it be like to be left alone with all the amazing toys and gadgets at home as a kid, and you get to basically have Christmas all to yourself, and then throw in beating up a bunch of goofy thieves. It's just it is a child's wish fulfillment of the late 80s, early 90s, and it's amazing. Congress is because I had already watched the live action adaptation, so I had an idea of the plot beforehand. And Tyler says, I love Home Alone 2. Oh yeah, people love Home Alone 2. In fact, actually, I just saw a clickbaity thumbnail for a video recently, how Corey McCulkin actually said that he likes Home Alone 2 more than Home Alone 1. But yeah, man, this first Home Alone movie is just, it's so good. Now that, like all these other Christmas movies that I've brought up, it has its own message, though, towards the end, of family, of forgiveness, and the music. Oh my gosh, the music that's written for this movie, of Somewhere in My Memory, is just like in a much more personal way than something like National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation, which is ultimately about trying to chase nostalgia, but how you can never recapture it fully. Home Alone, speaking to its older audience, is like is saying, yeah, no, this is kids' wish fulfillment, but yeah, the music was John Williams. Thank you, Tyler. Yeah, John Williams just did a phenomenal job with the music. The song Somewhere in My Memory is meant to pluck at the heartstrings of the adults and say, you want to go back. You want to go back and be like Kevin as well. And the reason why is not because you have wish fulfillment that you want to live out as a kid, because you're not a kid anymore. But you want to go back and be like Kevin because somewhere in your memory is a beautiful Christmas that you want to come back to. And that is a heavy and amazing message for the holiday season. And that's one of the reasons why it sticks out so well. My Home Alone, it feels just so classic and so timeless because of how it's able to pluck at the heartstrings of everyone involved, of every demographic that watches this. If you're a kid, it's the wish fulfillment. It's the fun. If you're a teenager or a young adult, it's the action and the humor. As a more matured adult, it is the nostalgia that you're like, I want to go back and just experience Christmas like that again. Just that innocence and that fun and that humor. And maybe you can experience it again, because that's kind of the goal at the end for the family, is for everyone to go back to Kevin, reunite, and have Christmas as a family, because that's what's most important. And you get that with you get that in this movie of it's all about family. And what if Christmas, what if Christmas doesn't mean something special to you because of the relationship that you have with your family? Well, it's never too late to make things up. Now then, there are those real situations where maybe you've got a really awful family member that maybe you shouldn't have in your life. Let's be honest, that can happen. Be wise, but for so many people who we care about in our lives, if we have beef with them, it's not worth holding a grudge when you can make up. And Christmas is it's a time that's better with the people that you genuinely love. And that's what Home Alone is all about. There's just so much going on with it. The acting's great. The traps are great. The humor is awesome. John Candy's there. Yeah. And of course, the music from John Williams is just amazing. Home Alone is just, you can't beat. Mike says, this movie was such a great watch growing up. Oh my gosh, I love these movies. The traps were some of my favorites I've every single time. Yeah, the traps from Home Alone are top tier. Everyone in cinema history since has been chasing the traps from the Home Alone movies, and they might never be topped. Like, you would genuinely have to work real hard to top the fun and the traps of the first two Home Alone movies. All the other Home Alone movies can go suck it. I'm still in shock that there was any movie after the second Home Alone, even more than there are multiple movies after the second. Yeah. At least it's not as bad as The Land Before Time or Fast and the Furious, where it just keeps on going. That makes sense. Yes, Home Alone 2 is truly peak, but the first Home Alone movie is such an incredible classic. It's such a beautiful story, and yes, the music is gorgeous. Yes, I miss Christmas as a kid. I do too. I also miss when Christmas used to be cold in the desert. We used to get cold. We used to freeze over. Not anymore. It's going to be like 80 degrees when we get to Christmas. Ugh. Anyways, let's pull up another movie. Let's see here. Let's see here. We have done Christmas Vacation. We've done the Care Bears Nutcracker. We've done Charlie Brown. We've done Frosty. We've done The Grinch. We've done Home Alone. Let's then. So we're halfway through. Let's dive into one I think you guys have not seen before. All right. So this is The Life and Adventures of Santa Claus. There is a cartoon remake, but the Rankin Bass claymation one is insane. So Connor Chris says, I have awful family members, but I never met them, and there's a reason. The only of my father's siblings I met was his half-sibling. Only of his family outside of his late parents. Oof, woof. Yeah, no, and sometimes that's the way it has to go. There's members of my family where I'm like, you know what? I don't ever need to meet you guys. It's absolutely fine. I'll spend time with the people who are wholesome and loving. Okay, so this movie is a somewhat violent origin story for Santa. And the reason why I say it's violent is because you've got gods and demons fighting each other for the destiny of Santa Claus. So you've got this boy who gets orphaned in the world of the immortals, or in the land of the immortals, and he's going to be left to die, but one god is like, you know what? I'll give this kid a chance. And so he gives the babe on over to a lioness to take care of. And then one of the fairies is like, I want to know what it's like having a baby. And so she kidnaps the child from the lioness and decides to raise the baby as her own. But then all the gods are all like, no, a mortal cannot live in the immortal realm with all of us gods. That's why we gave him to the lioness. The lioness was going to take care of him. him. He was going to be a bit of a wild child, but whatever. And but so now they've got to deal with this kid who's grown up amongst the gods and amongst fairies. And so the great Ack, the guy with the massive antlers, is all like, okay, Claus, you must go forth and you must learn about the world. And so he basically traumatizes Santa Claus by showing him how awful humanity is. And he gets to watch like all these kids starve to death. Kids get sent to war to die and all of these things. And so when he's kicked out of the land of the immortals, Santa Claus is like, I am going to make children's lives better. And so he starts making toys for the kids, and he encourages them to be good. And so he's trying to just make the lives of children better in a cruel and uncaring world. And all these demons are like, no, we can't have that. The children are ours. And so they begin to attack Santa Claus. And so all the gods are all like, well, we like Santa Claus, so we're now going to attack you. And you have this whole war between the gods and the demons over the fate of Santa Claus. And yeah, this movie is crazy. It's actually really dark. And I was raised on this movie. This might help to explain a little bit of why I am the way that I am. But man, the life and adventures of Santa Claus is absolutely worth the watch. To my knowledge, it's only available on Amazon right now. But it's absolutely worth watching. And yeah, if you want to see the Santa Claus story taken in a very different direction, this is it. There are some beautiful musical numbers that are really fun. There's a really fun one that helps to kind of inspire Santa in his toy making, where these kids want a cat, and so he carves a cat for them. And suddenly, all the other kids in the town, they're all like, "I want a cat that looks alive as well." And so you get this fun little song. Song about getting a cat for a present, and yeah, good stuff. The only other Home Alone movie I watched is Home Alone 3, which I actually liked, but the other Home Alone sequels after that, yeah, they can burn in Krampus's fireplace. The third Home Alone movie is fun, and I watched it a lot as a kid, but as an adult, I have a hard time enjoying it because it's a little too goofy. And really stretches certain points to incredulity. It's a great movie for kids, though. Chronic says, I remember a web comic I am following that is about Santa Claus's boyfriend Krampus trying to learn morality and having it placed by kidnapping awful adults and turning them into living toys to keep in his toyland. Oh man, that's rough. Krampus making his return. So yeah, highly recommend. Also, the opening number is a fun one that is just like intense. Immortality. So actually, because I love that song so much, there's one part in, I believe it's my second book of Legends of the Ten Lords, where one of the characters starts singing that song, and everyone else has no idea what's going on because it's a movie that almost no one's ever watched. So him using it is just all like, what's going on? All right. Well, let's grab up another movie. And we will do a Jingle All the Way. This is an absolutely wonderful Arnold Schwarzenegger movie, and with young Anakin in it as well. Okay. Is this movie intelligent? No. The writing, however, is fantastic for Schwarzenegger. This is probably the biggest example of a poorly written story in my entire list. Because this is a movie that is basically just and then. It's basically, what if the Odyssey met Christmas with Schwarzenegger as Odysseus? That is this movie. It's there's a lot of parts that are really dumb. Honestly, the only reason why this movie works is because Schwarzenegger and Sinbad are in it, and they play it perfectly. If you did not have Schwarzenegger and Sinbad in this movie, it would not have worked. It would not have worked. It would just be way too goofy, way too silly, as you have these two dads fighting against each other and everyone else in the city to get their hands on the last Turbo Man doll, which their sons both want, leading to an epic showdown at the Christmas parade to get the last doll. And then there's a really weird B plot where Schwarzenegger's really creepy next door neighbor is trying to have an affair with his wife. It's like, which leads though to some of the best lines of like put that cookie down. I was like, oh, these cookies. And yeah, Schwarzenegger gets very angry about it. Like, don't eat my cookies. Or then when he sees that he's putting together these trees, like, he's putting my star on my tree. It's just Schwarzenegger absolutely sells it. Meg says, I love how the beautiful claymation in a lot of these holiday claymation movies were made and filmed by various Japanese studios too. Oh yeah, there's a lot of movies that you don't realize until you start looking into the details. You're like, oh man, Japan made a lot of these. Yeah, and Japan influencing American culture for decades now, not just with anime. But if you're looking for a great laugh this holiday season and just a fun, dumb movie with Schwarzenegger being Schwarzenegger, you gotta watch Jingle All the Way. This one was a family must for a few years in my house. It wasn't Christmas. People were like, it's not Christmas until Hans Gruber falls on the Christmas tree. And I'm like, it's not Christmas until Arnold Schwarzenegger punches Rudolph. All right, let's pull up another one right here. Okay. So, toning it down a little bit. There is a really old cartoon made by Nest for the Nativity. Now then, this little movie is absolutely a product of its time. No, the people of the Middle East are not that white. Never have been. But if you actually dive into some of the history of what was actually going on with the time of baby Jesus, like, this is actually a really intense story because it dives actually into the politics of Israel at the time. The baldy dude that you're seeing right there is King Herod, who was Herod the Great, was also mad. And him dressing up like a Roman and everything was actually kind of on par. He was a man who was trying to straddle two different worlds. He wanted to be king of the Jews and rule over the new Jewish kingdom that was a client state to Rome, but he could only do that if he sucked up to Rome and act Roman. And so Herod the Great was a guy basically hated by everyone because he wasn't a Roman, but he was basically trying to be a Roman. He was the king of the Jews, but he wasn't really a Jew. He got so many people murdered. And oh my gosh. Yeah, the cartoon touches on all this stuff. It's insane. For a kid's cartoon, woof. Yet, at the same time, if you want just like a sweet, fun story that tells it like it was right out of the Bible, right out of the New Testament about the birth of Jesus, you've got Mary speaking to the angel Gabriel. You've got the situation with Joseph and how Joseph has to deal with what is ultimately a massive embarrassment that his fiancée is pregnant and it wasn't by him, but he is faithful to a message given to him in a dream, and you get all of that dream stuff. You have the shepherds coming, you've got the 3 gifts of the wise men, and then the flight into Egypt. All of that stuff is there. So it's a fun one. You can easily find this one on YouTube. and watch it. I grew up with this cartoon. There's plenty of Nativity cartoons out there that other people grew up on and they absolutely love. But this was the one that I grew up with in my family. The Arnold Schwarzenegger movie is so bad it's good. Yeah, Schwarzenegger. If it's great, oh my gosh, it's great. If it's bad, it's going to be good because Schwarzenegger just has that magic. Conker says, I just remember that apparently a bunch of Harry Potter fanfics back in the day, and even some today, genuinely made the argument that Dumbledore is evil because he forces kids to celebrate Christmas. Now that's weird. I mean, you could definitely pass off Dumbledore as evil for plenty of other reasons. Christmas is just amazing. I would love to be at Hogwarts for Christmas because Hogwarts has got fun Christmases. Dang it. And I also remember watching Elf as well. But again, after your time, yeah, Elf came out for my teenage years. And so like I did grow up with Elf, but it wasn't quite as transformative as some of these other films that I'm showing here, at least for me. Though I will say this, Elf was probably the last Christmas classic until Klaus. If it wasn't for Klaus, Elf would still be the last great Christmas classic. But then along came Klaus. All right, let us then do another one. We're closing up on there. We've got just 3 more to go. Let's do the Santa Claus. This movie is so dang good. I actually think that this is Tim Allen at some of his best. Just being snarky, but also being so endearing. Like, it's a hard combination to pull off. Being snarky and endearing. Michael Kovac can pull it off with Jax. But that's as a voice actor. Jim Carrey has to do it all in live action, and dang it, he pulls it off. The story of a man who accidentally kills Santa Claus and then has to take on the role of Santa Claus because he's magically obligated to do so the moment that he puts on Santa's suit. Yeah, you've got body horror and cosmic horror at play in this movie, and yet it's so heartfelt. And I think one of the things that is kind of shocking that this movie pulls off is that you have a divorced dad who's trying to connect with his son, and at first him taking care of his son is just an inconvenience. But in the process of becoming Santa, he begins to realize my son means everything to me. But then he becomes Santa, and suddenly now he can't just be there for his son. He has to be there for the whole world. How do you balance that? And what's great about it is that it's not just that Santa himself, or in this case, Tim Allen, solves everything, but that in order for him to be Santa and to be a dad, it requires the love of everyone else in his life to allow him to somehow make that work. Santa can be a miracle worker because other people become the miracle for him. And that's really, really good. As a kid, I never got that. It was just a funny story of Tim Allen becoming Santa. As an adult, it hits differently. It becomes a much heavier film, along with all of the fun and gags and the body horror that all gets thrown in there. It ends up working really, really well. And while this movie might not be quite as heartfelt as a lot of the other movies on my list, it's still just a fun one. And it's great seeing a guy who is so cynical really settle into his role and become Santa, because there needs to be a Santa. Why does there need to be a Santa? Because kids need to be rewarded for their hope. And I love that. That's one message that gets buried in the film, unfortunately, is that kids need to be rewarded for their faith and their goodness. If kids cannot learn through even magical means sometimes that doing good is the right thing, that being good counts, what's the point? Santa is meant to embody goodness and is meant to embody the reward that we can all receive for doing good, which is great than coming from a character who's meant to be all cynical in a world where everything is so commercial and so unforgiving. That even in this dark world, goodness can exist and goodness is rewarded. And that's what the main character has to learn. And so it's really good. But that message is again buried under the more family dynamic, which is still very important to the film. I just wish that the movie was able to balance that out a little bit better. Conker says, yeah, it's weird. Those authors are all like, wizards are Wiccan. They should celebrate Samhain or whatever yet they celebrate Christmas. It must be evil Dumbledore forcing them. Yeah, those people don't understand pagan holidays. Pagans would have celebrated Christmas just with a very different flavor. They tend to believe that Ron was planted by Dumbledore to be Harry's fake friend. The Weasleys are stealing Harry's family inheritance and other such insanity. But in the books, they clearly aren't. Yeah, fanfic writers are interesting breeds. Which I say that as someone who does write fan fiction. This movie is like a metaphor for a father trying to balance between helping out the world or work and spending time with his son. Mimic, that's an excellent way of putting it. That's a very succinct, awesome way to put it. Now then, let's then jump on over to another movie. We are almost done with my list. Let's do... Of the last two, we'll have Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. What a classic. As a kid, really Christmas did not begin for me until I put on Rudolph. Now, growing up, I actually had not the whole original movie, but a recording of it. Since my dad was in the Navy, active duty Navy, my family moved around a whole lot. And what that would then entail is that people would then, for instance, give up their recordings. People would be on base and record movies off of television. And then as they would move, they would give up their VHSs to other people. And so my family inherited a VHS of all these recorded Christmas classics, including Rudolph. So we'd have Rudolph, Frosty, Charlie Brown's Christmas, and The Life and Adventures of Santa Claus all on one VHS. And so I grew up with this, though not with the whole movie as other people knew it. So like there's an entire song that is in the movie that I didn't even know about until I was an adult. And like, oh wait, what? Oh my gosh. Yeah, it's the Santa's Elves song. But this is just such a fun idea. Again, taking a Christmas song and turning it into an entire story. Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer had a very shiny nose, and if you ever saw it, you would even say it glows. All the other reindeer used to laugh and call him names. They never let poor Rudolph join in any reindeer games. Then one foggy Christmas Eve, Santa came to say, Rudolph, with your nose so bright, won't you guide my sleigh tonight? The song is really straightforward. It tells the whole story. This movie somehow manages to expound on that whole story by introducing some fun side characters, a little bit of romance, adventure, the Abominable Snowman, plenty of other songs, and it works. It works out really well. And it's fun to have a story where Santa's lost sight of the true meaning of Christmas and how Christmas is for everyone, even for the misfits. Everyone's got a place where they belong, even someone as weird as Yukon Cornelius or an elf that wants to do dentistry, and of course Rudolph. And it's a nice feel-good Christmas story that brings out then a whole lot of other great songs. There's Always Tomorrow is a really beautiful, hopeful song. And I love Silver and Gold. Silver and Gold is not necessarily a deep song, but it's so beautiful. And I actually, for last Christmas, as part of the Christmas tradition, German Christmas tradition, where you have to recite a poem or sing a song before you're allowed to open your presents on the 24th, I sang a German translation I did of Silver and Gold. And that was fun. But yeah, Silver and Gold, silver and gold, silver and gold. Everyone wishes for silver and gold. How do you measure its worth? Just by the pleasure it gives here on earth. Silver and gold, silver and gold means so much more when I see silver and gold decorations on every Christmas tree. There you go. I can't sing quite as well because I've been talking now for 3 hours. Woof, my throat. But yeah, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. What a fantastic classic. Connor says, yeah, kids learn with rewards. My sister struggled a bit with her empathy because she got genuinely angry with mean cartoon characters during a phase she understood that behavior was wrong, but not that was fiction. She would cry about the unfairness on TV. Yep, I remember going through that phase, actually. Having her rewarded for good behavior was very vindicating for her. Mick says, yes, I love you, Rudolph. Rudolph is so adorable in this movie, and I remember watching this movie at a Christmas party in my elementary school, too. Pajamas, treats, and all. And Q and various lovely artists on the internet that turned Rudolph into an anthro. Oh my gosh, yes. Oh, and there's some disturbing Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer cartoons out there. We shall move on from that. No, thank you, Mivik. Encore. All right. Let's then get to the last movie that I have here on my list. Surprisingly, we got through 12 Christmas movies. What the 12th movie of Christmas my true love gave to me. The Muppets Christmas Carol. This movie is just amazing. And as some people say, like, it is the best adaptation of the Muppets have ever done. And it's because it's the one that they actually played straight. There's loads of comedy in the movie, but they actually try to get into the horror. There's some really spooky parts. Ebenezer Scrooge goes on his full journey, has his full character arc, and is played brilliantly by Michael Caine. And I actually saw part of an interview recently where he said, I am playing a psychopath. He said this to a friend. I'm playing Ebenezer Scrooge as a psychopath. And he's like, what? Why? He's like, well, if I employ a frog and a bunch of mice to keep my books, then obviously I am insane. But man, this movie's got it all. Like, it sticks very true to the story of the Christmas Carol. It tones down a lot of the weirdness and magic of Charles Dickens' story in order to keep it from going entirely off the rails. And it plays the love story that he went through as a young man a little bit differently, but it's still done with just so much heart. And the adventure is great. The humor is on point. The puppetry is absolutely phenomenal. I would argue that the puppetry within the Muppets Christmas Carol is never rivaled again until the Dark Crystal Age of Rebellion on Netflix. Oh, that's brilliant puppetry, let me tell you. Concrest says, seeing all this is just making me relive the embarrassment of how long it took me to realize that Noel was Christmas themed in Deltarune. YouTube, just reminded me that there's a Noel fanfic here on YouTube that I like and think you would like too, Lars. Well, thank you. You got it. Recommend it to me in the comments. But this is again another story that has some great music, like the song sung by the Ghost of Christmas Present is fantastic. There's only one more sleep till Christmas is an underrated gem. When Love Is Gone should never have been removed. Curse you, Disney, for removing that song. It is great. Even as a kid, even if I didn't quite understand the love story, that song hammered home just how sad things were, and just how far Ebenezer had gone in his life. He should have treasured others more than money. The Love We Found, I know a lot of people love that song. It's actually my least favorite in the lineup of musical numbers in it. The song sung by Tiny Tim, Bless Us One and All, is genuinely heartfelt. Such a good song. And of course, the opening song is just, it's so good. The opening number. When a cold wind blows, it chills you to the bones. There, it's just it's so good. And then also the song sung by the Marleys is just so good. I've listened to that one a couple of times on repeat because it's just so good. Kane's got Michael too. Whoops, sorry, my Digital Circus hard drive is still on. Yes. Oh, welcome, my little giblets to the Amazing Digital Circus Christmas Carol. Yeah, Muppets usually deliver. Man, and they absolutely this movie is so good. It's one that even I actually watched a whole hour long hardcore dissection by someone who's like, this is my first time watching it, but she's an enthusiast of this time period. And so she was breaking down, and she's read the book, and so she had all these things to say. She was nitpicking, and yet despite all of the nitpicking, she was like, this is a great movie, and it's actually a great adaptation. So yeah, the Muppets really, really nailed this one, and it's so good. Absolutely a must watch, and a very much feel good must watch for the Christmas season. Concrete says it's a fanfic about a Deltarune game becoming self-aware somehow, and a player that is implied to be a fan of creepypastas has to stop Noelle from doing the weird route, because Noelle would absolutely do the weird route on her own. As much of a goody two-shoes as she is, she would do the weird route. That crazy girl. I've heard it summarized as Deltarune, but Noelle has a Flowey's awareness while keeping her canon personality. Yeah, it sounds like it. All right. So, there we go. 12 Christmas movies, and nearly 2-hour breakdown of the Amazing Digital Circus episode 7. We've been going at this for more than 3 hours. I'm beginning to feel it in my voice, and I still got a lot to do. This week I have been very proud of myself. I have managed to edit my way through a third of a book. I think I've told some of you guys way back when that I was working on on my version of Beauty and the Beast. So I am right now prepping the book for beta readers, and once I get feedback on that, we'll then do another edit for it. And this is a book that I intend to send out to publishers and see what they think. And if it gets picked up by a publisher, I'll be so happy. If it doesn't, I'll publish it myself. And I know how I want it to look as well if I have to publish it on my own. It's intense. Rereading through it again, editing through it again. Man, this is an intense book, but I took on it. I took it as a real challenge, and I'm actually proud of myself for what I've been able to write. Definitely some silly mistakes along the way. I'm like, why? I obviously used the wrong word, or I missed out words, or that was a horrible sentence. Always something to fix, but I'm excited. Conquest says, cool. I'm currently proud that I managed to get back into writing my fanfic after my mental issues got in the way. Even a few lines in a night helped. Hey, Concraft, that is great. I'm glad to hear that you're getting that you're just getting things in your life in order. That is an amazing accomplishment, and I'm also happy that you're writing again. That is phenomenal. Keep it up, please keep it up. You'll be happy that you did. So, with all that being said, it is time for me to again get back to work and get ready for a massive Christmas party tomorrow. So, wishing you the best of luck there, and I wish everyone the best of luck with all of your holiday endeavors. Next week, the live stream will be a little bit earlier because I'm going to be at a Christmas party next Friday. So I'm right now looking to do the live stream probably on Thursday. Then after that, there will be no more live streams for the rest of the year. So very likely live stream on Thursday next week. But then after that, I'm not planning on any other live streams because it's going to be Christmas time. It's going to be New Year's. After New Year's, maybe the day after New Year's, I might then do another live stream just to kick us off to the new year and introduce you guys to some of the ideas that I've got, some of my big goals that I've also got for 2026. It's going to be crazy. Oh boy, we'll see how I do. Meg says, this Christmas on the first Noel, you will be gifted a Ralsei on Christmas Day, including a holiday knuckle sandwich brought to you by Susie. Oh man, I love it. I mean, the knuckle sandwich is going to hurt, but I'll love it all the same because it comes from Susie. So everyone, thank you so much for joining me tonight on this fun romp through the Amazing Digital Circus and through 12 Christmas movies. And I hope that you all, again, have a wonderful evening, morning, day, wherever you are at. And until the next video, y'all, tschüss.